online and we're, that's what the that was.
Okay, we are reconvening the February 3rd meeting that had a short break, pause in the meeting, and we are reconvening. We have a presenter, Maria Velasco with Utah State University Home and Community Department update. So you can continue and share, you go ahead and share your screen.
Oh, let me change that. That's gonna be.
Thank you.
All right, we should be good now.
Thank you. So we were in the youth development part of Home and Community and the projects we do here in Grand County. And of course, I forgot to mention that I'm part of a great team at the USU Grand County office. You probably already know Corey and also Isabel as part of 4-H, the 4-H coordinator, and I'm the home and community faculty. So as I was saying, the fun part about all this programming is to see the numbers and to see the impact that we have in our county, right? So we have served around, I would say, 200 or more than 200 youth per year in all this type of programming, not just connecting to the youth directly, but also to the families. When we allow these youth to have or to be part of these programs, we also try to understand what the needs of the families are, right? Also, we can see some numbers here. We have more than 70 youth being involved in career exploration, and the type of programming that we do is having them go to different campuses in the entire state and check what the experience of being in college would be. They even stay in the college dorms to understand what the feeling of that is. And they also go through different workshops organized with different departments at USU, Logan, and statewide. We also have a great program, and I'm super proud to say this, that Grand County is leading this pilot program. It wouldn't be a pilot anymore, it's actually a set program. So we are #1 in 4-H, in youth development, in the entire state of Utah to give access to all type of youth. Rural youth, low-income youth, all different type of youth. And we have gotten that award 2 years in a row, and we're hoping we have it also for 2026. So the reason we got this award is because we found ways that these programs are available for everyone in the county, for all type of youth. For families that probably don't have access to a computer to fill out a form, for families that probably have a barrier with language, or a family that has a barrier with funding to sign up their kid in one of these programming. So we are leading that statewide, so that's something very, we are very proud to show that, and also we're very proud of the youth that participate in this programming. We partner a lot with schools here, with the high school, with the elementary school, also with the middle school, and they allow us to work with their youth. Some of the youth here in Grand County have presented 2 years in a row nationally in Washington, D.C. They have presented to around 1,500 other youth from all different states, and they have been one of the best workshops in the entire nation. Everyone's very happy to see Grand County representing Utah, and we're very proud of that.
So you're doing it again this year.
We are doing it again. We are taking youth in March, the week of March 24th. We will have our 3rd year with youth from Grand County High School representing Moab, Grand County in general, in this nationwide programming. And the experiences that youth have in this type of programs, it has an effect in all, like in their entire lives, not just in their career development, but also in their mental health. They meet people from all over, and they also meet youth from other Utah counties. Okay, so this year we will go again, and probably at some point the kids can come and present to you the presentation that they're gonna do in March. That'll be great. Or we can even record it and we can send it to you so you can see the impact that your support to USU Extension has in the community, because that's what I really want to show today. So as part of the youth development, in Home and Community, we also have areas that are nutrition and wellness. We have many programming statewide, and we try to meet the needs of each county. It's my responsibility as a Home and Community faculty to bring the programs that the actual community needs, right? So we have different programming. We have Create Better Health, which is, or was, and Heidi here has been the director of this program for many years. We have applied this program here in Moab, in Grant County. And we have community members being part of this program where they learn how to eat healthy with a low budget. And we know that that's a need in the community right now. We are super happy to announce that right now we have the help of 2 community liaisons that will be able to help us expand this program. Because as I said, me being the faculty and just deciding to teach one programming and takes all the time, it's different when you have community liaisons and community leaders that have that trust with the community to share all these type of programs. I don't know if you want to add anything about SNAP Ed.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's a multi-level approach to being able to help with the food security and also teaching low-income families how to stretch their food dollar. But as Maria mentioned, the SNAP Ed program piece of Create Better Health has been cut due to the big, beautiful bill, but we still continue to do Create Better Health in Utah in different ways, so.
Yeah, and we're very excited because this, it's an outreach that it doesn't just include adults, it also includes youth. And in these last couple of weeks, and even from last year and previous years, we have talked to the schools to see if this is a program that can fit in their, not their formal curriculum, but being part of their wellness classes too. Because it's a curriculum that it's already built. And I know you that's leading this nationwide. Other states are also using this curriculum because it's very adaptable to all type of communities. And we have other programming that we are gonna bring probably in the next month. It's Cook Along with Diabetes. I'm part of a statewide initiative and a grant of this program, but we are also gonna have it here in Grant County. So I just wanna make sure that anything that we have statewide and that I see and we see a need here in Grant County, we can also replicate it here in the county. And then we have done in the past years dance-based fitness classes at the Southtown gym, where we try to motivate people to take the nutrition class and also have that free dance class, because a lot of people like to dance and that can help us with wellness, with being active. And something that we are very proud to say is that one of our big partners is the city of Moab. We were able to apply with all the different initiatives that USU Extension has, plus different organizations like the Youth Garden and the hospital, like any type of organizations here in Moab. We were able to lead and apply for the Get Healthy Utah 2024 designation, and we got it. And that's a compromise to keep Moab healthy. And we were very excited to have that recognition. That will be reviewed again in 2027, and we will be able to submit our impacts and continue to designate Moab as a healthy city. So all this work has a recognition statewide. Another program that we have is the Youth Prevention and Wellness. This program is called the Epic Space Faith program, and it's through a Southeast Department of Health grant. So it covers 3 different counties, and Grant County is one of those counties. So we help youth, parents, teachers, and through social media to understand the risk of vaping. We know that's a big issue in rural youth. And we know that there is a disparity between rural youth having being exposed to this type of risk. So we are doing that programming here through parent education, teacher training, youth after school program, and of course, social media campaigning. Some of the results that we have seen is that 100% of the participants reported to their group leaders that they did a good job facilitating the material. And also they found that the type of homework that they were given with this type of curriculum was very helpful for them. So we have served just in the year of between 2024 and 2025, around 200 youth, okay? So I was gonna say any questions, but I know I have 5 minutes for questions. So I will let that for the end. Another program that we have, it's called CUBE. So it's Connect, Unite, Build, Engage. And something that we are very proud to announce is that this program is housed at USU Home and Community Grant County. So this program, it's a statewide program, but its base is here in Grant County. And all the interventions that we do are focusing in the needs of Grant County, making sure that the outreach is being done to all community members. We want to make sure that all community members have access to the type of programs, prevention programs that we have, educational programs that we have, youth programming that we have. So we help with having Grant County as an example. We also give feedback to other counties on how to serve well the community. So we should be proud of Grant County and how we're developing and delivering this type of programming, because we're being the leads in the county in many of the programs, like the youth programming that I just mentioned. And we do a lot of capacity building through community health workers. And I don't know if any of you know what community health workers are. You can raise your hand if you know what community health workers are. But usually, if you are not in the public health background, it's something, you don't have a public health background, it's something that you usually don't hear that often. So I will give you a quick definition of what community health workers are. They are just a community member, a lead community member, someone that is living in the community that has the trust of the community members that have probably the same type of needs that they have. For example, if I'm, this is just an example, it's not real. Like if I'm a single mother and I'm struggling with my youth, I understand what the needs of a single mother is. So I can probably be a community health worker that reach out to single mothers. That's just an example of a need, right? So community health workers, me as the home and community faculty have co-lead this program as a formal state certificate on their appeal. If we can see in the report, it's on their bill SB 104. So this is a very formal curriculum that now we will be able to teach it to youth. And youth will be able to create a career path once they're 18 and be certified statewide and have probably a public health career, a specific clinical career, or even a social educational career. So I think I'm in zero time, right? And in the last page, you can see the funding, and if you have questions about that, we're more than happy. 10 minutes is hard for all the impact that we have. So I hope, any questions about the work of home and community?
Is your office here at the local
Yeah.
ESC?
Yeah.
Both of you?
No, mine's in Logan. I came down to here today to Marianne, hopefully have her get to know you a little bit and you to know what she's doing as well.
Who are the liaisons that you mentioned?
Sorry,
The liaisons, that
we have two here in Grant County.
He's asking.
Who?
you can email them to me if you'd like, that's better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They actually, they're part of this, some of them work through the school district. Yeah, because it's a part-time, it's a few hours of it on their, under one of our programs, so. Yep.
thanks.
I'll be able to email that to you. But both of them have a lot of experience with the schools and with youth. So we're very happy with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I wasn't aware of all of the programs that you discussed. It's
Yeah.
very educational.
And I was really surprised by the programs that are being offered. I don't think the public's aware.
So I'll make sure that we work more in like letting the public know about all these, submitting more, doing more social media and doing more like weekly emails. Probably you got a weekly email already. And sometimes we get caught up in all the work that we forget to show it, right? And I just want to tell you that we really appreciate the support you give us to USU Extension. Because like it's very needed, like we recognize the needs of the community. And I was very lucky when I moved here in 2023, having someone coming to me and having the community coming to me and tell me, Maria, this is a need. And that's how all the youth programming started. That was one of the first needs that families came to me to tell me, like, Maria, my youth needs this. So that's how all this program was created. And now we're leading it statewide, and we're super happy about that. So,
And
yeah.
and an effort from that too is that even our state 4-H office didn't have accessibility to Spanish speaking or filling out the forms. So Maria has made a huge difference in how people can be accepted into 4-H. I mean, it's not accepted, enrolled into 4-H, and I think that's pretty significant.
Yeah, just know that your youth are representing Grant County in Washington DC, presenting in front of many other youth.
In March.
In March. Every March, they do it in a conference called Ignite. It's the biggest 4-H conference. And they're gonna present about belonging.
That's great.
Mhm.
If there is a possibility, we'd love to see their presentation in any form that you can get it.
Perfect,
Would
yeah.
you like to see it before or after or?
Whatever's easiest on you on that one. Or
So
for
be
them.
ready to be interactive because it's a youth workshop, youth teaching youth, so it's gonna be interactive, but yes, we're gonna have it ready.
Like that.
She learned how to rope at one of them too.
Yes, actually, we took a rope and that was like the biggest activity for all the youth. They were roping at some moment. I was like, we're gonna break something. There's no money to. But we are very, very happy. Yeah, I'm very happy serving this community. Just know that, and I'm always open to feedback. We're working in a needs assessment, so now it's the time. Like you know the community more than anyone, and if you see a need that you know home and community can cover, now you can see that it's like from youth to everything. We have more than 150 USU extension programs that can be brought here to Grant County, even if I'm not the expert, like food preservation and freeze dryer. That's something new for me, but we can find the expert.
But you
We had a
started
student
yeah.
here, and she knows it was my one of my first time teaching freeze dryer, but we have experts that can come and do anything that the community needs. Okay. And of course, our biggest thing is meeting the community where they are. We don't wait for the community to come and sit at my office. We go, we reach out to the families, we talk to them, we talk to the youth. I visit restaurants, I go everywhere because I know for the community, a school setting, since we are based in a school, in a university setting, not all community members feel that's a place for them. And that's something we want to change. Thank you so much, everyone. And I will email that to you.
Yes, please.
Perfect. With a little bit of background of them, okay? Because they are great. I know hiring in Grant County was a little bit hard, but I found gems. Is that how you say it? Yeah. Diamonds. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And I have an extra copy. If anyone, does everyone have a copy? Yeah. You want?
Does everybody have?
And no,
I have one.
so to you, I have it, but sometimes paper things are harder to find than if you emailed the
Yes.
station.
Yes, I will email you all this. Perfect, thank you so much, and I'll take my.
Okay, so and there was a presentation from Moab Tourism Advisory Board. That was postponed, so it'll be on a future meeting, the March 3rd meeting. So our next section is our department reports. So we have Julie Neiman here for the Family Support Center.
Should be able to share now.
Oh, sounds good.
Thanks for having me and putting me on this agenda and hoping that no hacks happen. So life is it, but so let's see, I will share. I hope. Allowing you to. Which asking for.
What do we share? Oh, so that's a Chrome tab, so go back. Yeah. This one. And then hit share, and let's see if that works. Oh,
Thank you. Okay. All right, so I did present to the commission about 3.5 years ago when I just began this position. And I have learned so many more things, and I just wanted to share, you know, our programming and the good things that we do at the Family Support Center with you. And first off, I just am really appreciative of the county and the support that we receive, and the commissioners. We, along with the community and our partnering agencies, this work is not accomplished without everybody contributing. So we're just gonna go through a little overview of the Family Support Center, the Grand County Family Support Center. And we have kind of restructured our mission and our vision. And so I just wanted to update that. We are dedicated to providing supportive services, education, and resources to strengthen families and protect children. Our vision, we just added this. We embrace the shared role to ensure children are safeguarded and loved. We champion steady balance for caregivers, giving space for them to maintain the strength needed to tenderly care for their little ones. And that is how we operate. We are championing those parents, those caregivers, because we know the overwhelming and just 24/7 nonstop role of being a parent, and how exhausting that can be, and at times, because of that exhaustion, there are situations that arise that become crisis. And so our goal, our mission is to prevent that from happening. And so just a little bit about our center. We are one of 11 state licensed family support centers of Utah. We are also one of 17 crisis respite nurseries located across the entire state of Utah. We operate with your support, Grand County. We're funded through Grand County. We have 2 grants, the Family Support Centers of Utah and the Department of Health and Human Services. So that is where we receive our funding. We have some core services. We have what we call planned respite. We have family education courses that we offer throughout the year. We are constantly referring our families to wonderful resources. As you just heard, the USU Extension. That was a lot of information that I know that I will take back and make some connections with Maria and provide some of those services that she mentioned to our families. Crisis emergency care, in other words, that is a shelter for those kiddos who have been removed. And then we have emergency nursery care. And emergency nursery care is for those occasions when parents or caregivers have an emergency situation that come up. It's not necessarily due to neglect or child abuse. It is, we've had one particular example is we had a mother that needed to go in for some emergency procedures at an ER. And so this mother
did not have any family close by. And so we took her little kiddos for a couple days. And that is all part of our programming and part of our funding, part of our contract to provide those services. So the planned respite program is kind of the core of our preventative services. And it is there to give caregivers a break from those stressful situations and promote the prevention of child abuse by providing that extra support. A lot of our community does not realize or understand that this is free childcare for everyone. A lot of times we are associated with DCFS or the Children's Justice Center. And although we do work with those agencies, our services are available to everyone. And it doesn't matter how much they make, it doesn't matter their status. It is because, you know, those crises happen to everyone. Everyone feels those stresses. We have a few guidelines with this planned respite. It is not a daycare, and for many years, that was the perception that we were just a free daycare, and that does not comply with our contract. We are not a free daycare. We offer those scheduled times for parents to give us a call and say, hey, I have a doctor's appointment that I need to go to. I have therapy I need to go to. I need to go grocery shopping without littles, you know, in the grocery store, creating some extra stress. And we also encourage self-care. I think we all know that the best way to prevent any type of crisis or any type of stressful situation is to take care of your first. You need to take care of yourself first before you can give that care to those little people. We also are offering classes, parenting classes, at least 3 times throughout the year. These classes are taught by instructors that have been trained and certified in these curriculums. We have a strengthening families curriculum and a nurturing parenting curriculum. We also we present you those community gatherings, those events that bring not only our community together, but also it's a time for families to take time away from the screens and away from plugged in and have some good quality time together, building really stronger and healthier relationships. We do our trunk or treat. We do the Pinwheels for Prevention in April, and we have a Fly a Kite festival that has grown each year, and it is really fun. And it's fun to see all those families come together and the community. We have lots of help with our partnering agencies that help us have success at those events. We are a crisis. We are one of those 11 or one of those 17. There's 11 centers that offer this crisis emergency care. And when you think about it, 11 across the state really isn't a large amount to temporarily care for those little ones that have been removed due to abuse or neglect. The foster families are a little bit sparse in our area. And so there have been times that we have sheltered these little people for weeks. And eventually, in most cases, those little kiddos are placed along the Wasatch Front, which is not ideal. But we have seen some really good improvements as far as the placements in the area. We are seeing more placements with kinship, which has been really helpful. But those little kiddos come to us at any time during the day or night. We get phone calls, and we have staff that are on call, and they are willing to come at any time during the day, night, and be with these little kiddos that have been through so much. And my staff is very nurturing and caring and loving, and we try and provide them with the most home-like environment possible. And I would love to have anybody here or in the community come and tour our center. It is a beautiful place. It's a special place. The referral resources, we have lots of community partners. And like I said before, without those community partners, we have so much support and strength because of these community partners. I just wanted to share just a real quick overview. This is really amateur, but it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of the services we provide. So the planned respite that I mentioned, that is our focus because it is the preventative part of our programming. I started in 2022, and up until this very day, we have served 380 children with a total of approximately 7,525 hours. Our crisis emergency care, we've served 52 children with 11,752 hours. And over a 3-year period, we've increased our enrollment for new families. And that was also one of my goals, is to get the word out there into our community that we are here and we can help in that process, that parenting, caregiving process. And we have our enrollment. When I first started, we had 13 new families, and we are up to 84. And I looked at our reporting, and according to the reports right now, we are on course to reach and serve an additional 40 new families. I didn't include the numbers for the parents and families that we've reached, but it has been a significant increase over the last 3 years. I believe that is my presentation. So I do have some map cards, and I do have, I did want to mention, so with our new space in the CJC space, I am so excited because we have more area to provide additional space for parents, specifically caregivers and parents. And so we're in the middle of trying to just, I don't want to say upgrade, but just change the environment of that CJC to a place where parents can come. They can come. We've got lots of ideas of how to increase our support for them. But some of those are to people like Maria come and give a little mini lesson or a little presentation about additional services. A lot of times parents just need a time to take a break. A lot of parents hesitate to take a break and leave their children with other or in a different location. So when they come to our center, we offer that free childcare as they are taking classes, or even just having a parent learning community time where they can come and just vocalize some of their struggles. And we'll have a facilitator there that will help guide those discussions. We've had Audrey Graham come, and she's an expert in child development, and those are very helpful. She's given some really good information and just ideas for parents. I did want to mention one of the services that I have a passion for this new space is a place for brand new mothers or mothers in their first year of having children. I've had my own personal experience with that, with very supportive family, but they were 2.5 hours away. And I just remember, it's still very vivid in my mind with my first child, how exhausted I was. And we know that even with a healthy mindset, when you lose sleep and you're up all night with a new, beautiful, precious newborn, it is overwhelming, and it can lead to some unfortunate events. And so I have 3 daughters, and they've all gone through that postpartum. And the biggest hesitation for a new mother is that they're doing their best, and they don't know where to turn. They can't take a nap because new baby is demanding their care. And so I feel strongly that if we provide a space for those new mothers where they can come, they can relax, and their newborn baby will be taken care of in the room that's just right around the corner, I'm hoping that will bring a lot of those new mothers to our center so they can get the rest they need and be able to care for that new.
That's great. That was one of my questions, is have you guys moved into that CJC side? So that's exciting to hear what you have going on and planned for that.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions or?
Need to get the word out there.
That's been our biggest challenge.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do social media. I do outreach. I go to different agencies and give presentations such as this. But I think there's just a block, that we are a different type of program. I haven't been able to, we're making some progress, but haven't been able to get past that very far. We do have a lot of new families in the area, but the history behind where we are, it's a beautiful story, and it was, as I think most of you know, was the Christmas Box House. And that's where it began. That's where these shelters began. And we love that history that we are located in that first Christmas Box House. However, I think that because that's so deeply rooted in this community, people are connecting that we are Christmas Songs International and we are not. And so people locally are reaching out to Salt Lake. And their shelter is wonderful, but we have so many more different services and programming to offer our local community. And so that's been a little bit of a hard shift. Even when I go to a shelter hearing, the judge refers to us as the Christmas box house. And that is tender, and I love that and I respect that. But it does create that connection on our center, our programming with DCFS. And we are there for them. That is true, but that is not the core of what we do. So,
And that's quite a big shift from when it started, because when it started, that's what it was.
That's right.
To begin with, so.
and that's
Yeah, people, I can see where people have, to change their mind and recognize that it's not just for kids who have been removed, but it's a prevention.
right.
It's preventative care.
And that is our scope. That is that is our focus, is prevention.
Great. Yeah, I actually didn't really realize it was that much either until right now.
I learned a lot.
Oh, good. We reached a few more, and I hope, and I, like I said, I welcome you to spread the news. I do have RAC cards. It's really, RAC cards are great, but people just need to come and see what we have. It's a beautiful building. We really worked hard to make it inviting and really comfortable and home-like. So.
I just had one question. It's a great presentation. The numbers of people, what areas are we serving for the respite versus the areas that we're serving for the shelter?
Very good question. So respite is our community, our Grand County. Very rarely would I get a respite. I do have a few that come from Blanding. We do serve Grand and San Juan as far as shelter services. But the planned respite, it's kind of it just kind of doesn't serve its purpose when a family comes for an hour and a half with their children to have a couple hours break and then go back to Blanding. It's to relieve stress. And a 3-hour trip is not I don't know if you've ever been in the car with 3 hours with kiddos.
That's a little light to those numbers right there. That's, I think of that as 7,500 hours, inside of our community.
Yes.
And then when you
Yes.
say that we're doing shelter services for Grand and San Juan, that's more than a quarter of the state.
Right. And
The challenges of rural Utah are
Exactly. And there has been some discussion about some extending a family support center in Blanding, but that is a little far off in the, but there are conversations about that.
Just
Much needed.
just a few years ago that they had their own Children's Justice Center person that
Yes.
split off, because before Grand County served all of San Juan County as.
That's right.
So maybe that's the first step to move towards having a respite.
It is, and it's so exciting because that is happening over there.
And you work exceptionally well with the CJC director out of San Juan County.
I do. He's my husband. So yeah, my husband did, when that took place, he took that CJC director position, and they are they just had a really good, Elizabeth Smart came and presented, and they had a good fundraising run, and they're on track to have a CJC, new CJC built.
Mike,
Oh. It seems token, but if I could offer my help in getting a spot or help manning a spot, I saw that you in attending events, the trunk or treat,
Yes,
of which I take my kids to. I would love to figure out a way to get you out to the county fair.
yes,
As we all tout that as one of our larger family events. If you need a body to stand there, I volunteer my time, but we should really get you out there.
yeah, and I appreciate that. That's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take, and it's a process, and I want it right now. But it is a process, and it will happen. I've seen it evolving, and the word is spreading. We're getting families more diverse, and not only with their backgrounds, but also with just the average, everyday parent that needs some support. We love it. It's really exciting. And this is it's just such a good work that we all do as a community. And we so appreciate the support.
Thank you for the work you do.
thank you.
Thank you.
I do have some handouts if you'd like. Do you have any other questions? I would love to at a time when we really do want to get that space where we'd like to see it, but I would love to have some type of open house or something. We're always invited. Our doors are open anytime you'd like to come during the business hours. We're happy to show you our facility. And there would be an exception if we did have some shelter kiddos. We'd have to reschedule.
Understand.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You can just want to leave those over there and Trish will probably pass them down. Thank you. Okay, so we will be moving on to our agency report. You said that Sheriff was on. Should we have him? Did Jameson?
He's on for the. No.
Not related.
Yes.
He's not on for report. Okay. And so moving along to our general business action items, discussion and consideration. We have our commission member disclosures and future considerations.
Future consideration, I would just like to schedule a Spanish Valley Drive subcommittee in the next week or two.
You're talking the bike path.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Future consideration, just want to speak out to the legislative team. We'll be heading out for NACO on February 20th. So if there's any some meetings that you'd like us to attend, I think it would be a good idea to get together.
Mike.
Disclosure, my wife works for the sheriff's department.
Mary.
My son works for Sand Flats, and because of the public hearing, I think it's important that I say my husband is fire code.
Okay. And then approval of the consent agenda items. So we have the approval of the meeting minutes for January 20th, the ratification of payment of bills, total bills in the amount of $990,086.38. Total payroll, $582,483.93. So total bills and payroll is $1,572,570.26. C, ratification of local consent alcohol permit for Building Man. D is ratification of local consent alcohol permit for Run the Rocks event. E is the ratification of the RCG grant sub-grants. F is a letter of support for Stewart Moab, the 2026 OHVR grant. G is a letter of support for Stewart Moab for the 2026 RTP grant. H is a letter of support for a planning and design grant application from Build Grant Program for improvements to the Sand Flats Road. I is a letter of support for improving public safety radio coverage over southeastern Utah. J is a letter requesting extension of agreement for the All-American Wash. K is a contract agreement with SET Engineering for the Buena Vista Arroyo Crossing Detention Basin number 2 design. I is audit engagement letter for 2025 with Richie Main. M is the Grand County Sand Flats toilet service contract for 2026 with Rough and Tough Services LLC. N is the purchase of 2 new snowmobiles for Grand County Search and Rescue. And O is the Spanish Valley Storm Drain Master Plan update with Horrocks Engineering on-call task.
Make the motion to accept consent agenda as presented.
Okay, all right. Motion from Bill and a second from Mike. Do we have all in favor? Okay, that passes 7-0. And our next is the chair pre-authorized procurement list. Number 4, we have Chantel to help us. Thank you.
Hello. First off, I'd like to say thank you to everyone up in front of me and many of you behind me for your support and kindness. And I appreciate your patience tonight. So
We talked about this. Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
We kind of want to switch 4 and 5.
Oh, no, switch.
So let's talk about the improvements project list before we do the pre-authorized list. I think there's a few things we want to move from the
Okay.
budget list to the authorized list.
Okay, so we're gonna do number 5 first.
I have a computer.
Capital improvements projects. And then we'll go to the pre-authorized procurements.
So after taking 4 courses from the Utah State Auditor's Office, I know with Gabe and Quinn and everybody. Yeah. For now. We decided to separate the pre-authorized procurement list versus the capital project list, which is now, according to the Utah State Auditor's Office, called a long-range capital plan. And I've invited anyone who's been on the list here this evening. I know Jameson's on Zoom. And I guess I want to talk about what the difference is for everybody, so just a reminder for the public. The pre-authorized procurement list is anything that has been passed in your department in your 2026 budget that was already approved, that's over the amount of 5,000 that needs commission's approval. It doesn't mean that don't still have to follow the proper purchasing flow chart, which I think I included in the agenda for you guys. And so on this list, it's taken a long time, and I appreciate all the departments that have included items either on the pre-authorized procurement list or the capital plan. With the new Long Range capital plan, we are required to have certain items on here. So those are, it is accurate. I have included a financial schedule, which is part of the new way we're gonna do capital planning moving forward. So even if something costs 2,700, or 2.7 million, and we might only spend like 800,000 in 2026 or 2027, we have to now document each year how much we spend and then get to a total at the end for whichever item it was. I separated the roads and airport out because they're different funds. I also, with the roads department, differentiated between stormwater and roads, items fund 35 and 18. I had everybody who provided something for this list kind of number it project 1 and then project 2. Project 1 being more important, project 2 being maybe 3 years, maybe 10 years. It could, and I've included a lot of notes on the long range capital plan. I know Jameson wanted to just briefly say something really quickly about his item on here, and I'll let him do that in a minute. I organized this so that once they're approved, we can mark them approved. We can mark them completed, and what date they're completed, so that this new document extends for many, many years down the road, that we can keep a running, idea of what we have coming up in the future, the new things that might be added each year, and sort of start working on some of these projects that need to be handled, either immediately or can be pushed down the road 3 years or so. And so if it's all right, I'll let Jameson talk really quickly. You wanted to say something. Jameson, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, thanks, Jameson.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. In regards to the Sheriff 4Runner, 2 of them, I was asked by a couple commission members to try to buy some vehicles outright instead of leasing them. And so a part of the 26 budget, we lowered our leasing line item in hopes of buying 2 of the 4Runners outright. And that's what you see there today. The reason why we picked some 4Runners is we were going to give those to our investigators. They don't put very many miles on them. Toyotas have a good reliability. And we were hoping to keep those for about 7 to 10 years instead of having them a part of the leasing program. That's why they're on there today.
Thanks, Jameson. And you will see one item, and these are not numbered 1 through 50 as like most priority. This is just a running list. You can decide, which one is most important. That is, I just wanted to gather all the information that I could. I wanted to know if it had a fund match. There are a couple items on here that we have insurance money still that we can provide towards those items. The estimated project cost for some of these larger ones, is obviously an estimate. We don't have any bids or anything out. And remember that anything that's approved off this list tonight, or if you approve the whole list, each item still has to come before you for purchasing. And I wanted to let you know that. Hey Quinn, I can't share the pre-auth list. Can you share that? Or can you come else with this? It's already kicked me off once. And I wanted to bring up the pre-authorization list because in there, we on our third item is the jail camera server system. And that was not in the 2026 budget line item. And we had that on here as a capital project. However, it's become an emergency. So it's an emergency purchase on the third item that I'm presenting tonight. You'll still see it on the capital project list just because it's there. And they sort of intermingle, once an item has been approved, pre-authorized, I can add it to that list, but they're specifically listed here, only items that have been approved in the 2026 budget by each department. That's over the 5,000 mark. We did, Melody wanted me to differentiate what could be grant funded or grant reimbursable. So you'll see that in the purple color. And there is one item that needs to be removed from here tonight. And it's, I'll find it. It's this line 26 won't be included in the pre-authorization list. That is not a new vehicle. It's a former purchase thing. It doesn't need to be on this list. So just be mindful of that. Let's see. On the long-range capital plan, it won't let me go back. I can't go back and forth between documents. I'm so sorry. This is my luck. You know, you patience. There's 3 yellow highlighted items on the long-range capital plan list that Sean has added that are have become an emergency purchase off that list that need to be approved sooner than later. Obviously, the items that you approve here, they would come before you again on another agenda. We are seeking to add those 3 to the pre-authorization list tonight. And the reason being, the facilities project for Star Hall HVAC has insurance pending money that we're gonna lose if we don't do that project, as well as the Grand Center HVAC. And then I will let Sean talk about the front steps. I'm sure you all have been to the courthouse, but it's in dire need of being replaced.
They're pretty bad and we already have tripping hazards other places. I'd like to avoid any more tripping and incidences at the courthouse. So it'd be nice to get those steps. And my guys went in to fix them and we fixed them, but they just don't look good. They look, we should take pride in our courthouse. It's a pretty building. It'd be nice if we had some stairs that matched. So.
And if you want to go and look at the airport, and Steven's here, we have all of these updated for our total county cost as well, and what's been approved and what hasn't. And just note that on the firefighting vehicle, we've added 10% plus of closing fees. So I did add that in the notes, just so you know here. And then go ahead.
We're gonna jump in and change that later in this meeting.
Okay, never mind. I wasn't here. The one that has not been approved is the apron rehab, which is 50 feet to the hangars, which will cost $164,769. And that is what the airport is seeking to get approved off there. Cody?
Yep. Thank you, commissioners. I appreciate your time. On my stuff, it's really just based off of kind of project need tying into other projects. One note that I do want to make is the very first project where it says Spanish Valley Drive Mill and Fill 4-way intersection north. That's actually going to be south from the existing mill and fill that we already did to tie it into the county line. Eventually the north, that would be maybe more of a phase 3 to tie into this Spanish Valley corridor as the trail system builds out. A lot of this is based off of stormwater funding. My projects, my general maintenance, road chipping, this mill and fill, a lot of that I try to just pull out of my B road funds. These are kind of special projects that Sean, the county engineer, and planning and zoning, we kind of look at the storm drain and how it can benefit. Again, tying into projects that are maybe in existence or where it's going to work the best. They range, like you say, from $125,000 to, a 10 million paving project if and when those kind of needs need to be met. But it's kind of all over the board. It really just is based off of where the needs are and what the community would best benefit by.
And we wanted to include all those projects. So even we know 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, we know what kind of we're looking at that needs to be addressed coming forward. This way, if we kind of get an idea from each department and get an update, frequently to add to this list, we'll be able to, better handle, our financial purchases and things like that in the future.
Cody, how do funds move from 21 to 35? Do you choose, I think you have your 21 roads fund, and then you have your 35, which is your capital fund. Is that something that how does the money
Are
move?
you talking 18 to 35, not 20 to 35?
Sorry, well, it says 21 on roads on one.
So Gabe can probably answer this a little better, how those funds are.
So the road supervisor, I work with the road supervisor. So now that's Cody, obviously at the end of the year, typically there's excess B roads monies. And so it's a matter of budgeting to put those in either the fund balance of that same fund 21, or rather deciding to put some of those excess revenues into 35, which would be the capital projects fund. It's important to note that those same B roads funds don't have the same they don't have the same sort of qualification to be used for stormwater related projects. So that has to be kept carefully discriminated. So it's mainly a sort of a call that's done during the budgeting process. where to put those excess revenues.
And because they're a restricted fund. So I do rely on the expertise of, I'm still kind of learning the ropes, so I appreciate the patience, but yeah, I'm learning pretty fast and Gabe is an asset on how we can manage those funds, especially towards the end of the year if you do have excess revenues.
Sean, you want to add something?
I would like to add, the two HVAC projects for the two buildings, they are at end of life. I was hoping to get a few more years out of them, but, with the insurance, funds available, I figured why not supplement those costs. Star Hall's HVAC is 18 years old, industry standards are 15. So we're well beyond our use for those machines. And as well as with the Grand Center HVAC, I think I'm not clear on the date on the Grand Center, but I think we're pushing 20. So, and they've all been in there and repaired over the years, and it's time to just replace them. So we can supplement the cost, offset the cost with insurance. Why not? So.
Was that insurance from the hailstorm from a couple years ago, right? Yeah. And then I thought the Star Hall thing we already did, or was that the roof?
That was the roof.
Okay, gotcha.
That was the Star Hall. Thank you. There's a lot of moving parts on that damage, and I probably should have just called an emergency, just done it all at once. But I didn't want to. Yeah, I got you.
And we did add the camera jail server system as a separate item tonight on the agenda because it is an emergency. That one is on, it's a separate item tonight. It's third on the list that I'm presenting, and that item we're looking to get approved as an emergency approval.
Just for Sean too, what's the use it or lose it date on insurance funds?
As soon as possible. The insurance company is being very lenient with us.
Okay.
By pushing it to this year. They're very adamant that we do make best practices to get it done as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Question, what's the status on the Moab Information Center bathroom remodel?
That's in, as soon as if you guys want to do it and approve the funds, I can start getting contracts and have someone move on it. But from what I understand is we're gonna try and use TRT funds for it, and I didn't know if they were available or not, so I put it on there, but didn't have much, I wasn't quite sure what was going on with it. Okay, so.
If we got a definitive answer as to the possibility of using TRT for that, I know we talked to like CNHA.
Which TRT are you suggesting?
What's that?
Old or new funds?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I remember having these conversations with CNHA when we were discussing some other things, and they had requested that.
Yeah, the reason I asked is I know that it was a request for last year.
That's right.
And it kind of got passed off, and they've been kind of patching it up, and I think it's at a time where we need to make some.
No, I agree.
You know, one of the things that I remember looking at it is we were trying to find that balance for the rec film and convention, because I'm pretty sure that the rec film and convention, the TRT 2A or 2AI.
Yeah.
Could have been used for this, but we still don't know what the balance is on that TRT rec film convention. But this was one of the uses, and then we'll have that a little later on today as well. When you look at the airport and that study, when I look through the old TRT 2A2, right, airport is specifically listed under that rec film and convention. So those are two spots that we might be able to utilize those funds that were in there.
And can we use TRT for studies? I thought.
Which studies?
Okay.
Or we were, anyway.
When you brought up airport, you got the improvement on the airport, was that right? Or?
No, it's for the promotion of the airport. So you could use that study right there, the TRT rec film, and still has to be for promotion. But since it actually specifically calls out the airport on that, it could be used. Now, moving forward into HB 456 and those funds right there, when I looked at that right there, and I know we're kind of jumping ahead.
Sure.
But when we look at that, you have, it comes down to that clause that 3A cannot be at 3B.
Yeah.
And since airports are listed under 3B, we cannot use the promotional side of the HB 456 for that. So if we are going to use anything, it would have to be that reserve rec film and convention. And also, once again, if we do have that reserve rec film and convention, once we understand what that balance is from our reserve account, we can apply that to this project right here, I believe, as well. So this project and the airport study would fall under allowable uses for that.
And you'll see a few familiar items on this list. I wanted to just note, that people have asked me to say, on the security and controls of the facility, there's been talk about needing to update that and maybe do like a card system and things like that. And I've heard a lot of buzz about, well, what if we don't have the jail here, we move it, Just per Matt, I wanted to let everybody know that he did say that once you install that, you can take it off and put it somewhere else. So I know that one is a big one, that's $1 million. However, I just wanted to let you know, since he's not here. And then the other one, Sean wanted to talk about.
The fire suppression system for Angie's or OSTA. She's been asking it and needing it for about 3 years. And the old system is dying, and I'm not quite sure why we did a glycol system in a rec center or a place that has animals. It just seems like a bad mix. I understand it's not poisonous to the animals, but anytime those pipes get hit by anything, it dumps antifreeze all over the place. And that system is dying. So I really think we should try and get that done this year if we can.
And there's one item on there, I wanted you to know that the Veterans Memorial Repair Redesign, there's been a few potential contractors in town offer their services to fix that. And I am on my own time writing a grant right now to hopefully get that replaced. The Veterans Memorial is really important to me. My son is a sergeant in the Army National Guard. And so Tess found a donation, a grant that I could possibly apply for through the state. And so I'm doing that right now.
Thank you. Both of you.
And do you have any further questions on the pre-authorization? Do you want to go over any of those?
Oh no, where are we at now?
So let's do the, I guess, do you want to add the 3 highlighted yellow ones to the pre-authorization list tonight? Or approve them and he can come back and present again?
There's no reason that we don't add them, is there? I mean, they still come back before us for a vote when we spend that money, so it would make sense that we put them over there sooner than later.
And wait, I want to,
So if we
one
put
point of
them-
clarification is once they're on the pre-authorized list, they have to follow the purchasing policy, but they don't come back to the commission. They just get signed by the chair. That's the point of the.
That's,
pre-authorized list.
and that's why I separated them out of the document so that we can clearly, anything on the capital project list that you might approve the whole list tonight, it's still all coming back, for permission and suggestion and discussion with the commission. Once you approve the pre-authorization list tonight, those are ready to go down, whether they go out to bid or do the 3, adjustments.
So you're asking to have these put on, the ones that are yellow, highlighted on pre-authorization?
Yes, and the jail cameras or system server, this one that's in blue right here, that's on it'll come up on the next item. So that one needs to be approved as well. And
I imagine OSTA, if somebody wanted to make a motion to approve the OSTA fire suppression system. And then the 3 highlighted items for the facilities that John has highlighted, those would be those 4.
Correct. If you move the camera server, the Star Hall, Grand Center, and Courthouse steps, and the OSTA suppression system to the pre-authorized list, you would delete number 6 as well.
I
We
got you.
would finish number 6 on the agenda.
Yeah.
So if someone made a motion to move those to the pre-authorized list, that would move.
Do not want us to have the OSTA fire suppression come back before us though, in case there's options with that.
Well, they still have to do it, they still have to follow the purchasing. They still have to follow this, no matter what. So they have to go get the quotes and go before, and then of course it would still come before us as a ratification or a,
Your signature being ratified would come back before the commission.
yeah, but if you wanted
But
to,
the expenditure of the money would be authorized by this vote, if you choose to do so. So that the department and staff still have to fulfill and comply with the purchasing policy, but that expenditure itself would not come back before the commission.
okay, Mary, go ahead.
So how much more money would we be adding to the pre-authorization? I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount.
Over $1 million?
Yeah. And so does that mean,
Fire suppression was 4.
and most of these were not in our budget before, and so now we want to put it into this year. Do I understand? But they weren't all, they
Well, we
weren't.
don't put capital projects in our budget anyways, so that's what this, that's what this capital.
Okay, okay.
So anything that you see on the capital project list in the colored and that list, none of that was in anyone's budget in 2026. However, everything on the authorization procurement list tonight was approved in their
Okay.
budget. It's just easier to come as a group and approve them all at once and forward.
I just gotta, yeah, thank you for the clarification.
It's $746,977 with what would be taking out of our capital funds to purchase the emergency camera system server, the HVAC on Star Hall, the HVAC on the Grand Center, the steps in front of the courthouse, and the fire suppression system at OSTA.
I'll make that motion.
You make that motion?
2.
And then, okay, so Bill makes a motion, and Mike seconds. Do we have any more? Mike, go ahead.
That fire suppression system host, we talked about 4 years now. And if any way it fails, it shuts the facility down. It's not a fail and we can keep this, the facility open, even to that minute. The facility fails or facility shuts down upon failure at any time.
Go ahead, Tricia.
Do you mind just going over where we sit? You did send out that fund balance for us, which I really appreciate. Just kind of where we sit with capital projects as of 2026. And then, do you mind doing that? Just so the general public has an understanding of how much we have in that fund.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'm looking at a number and then it said we almost have 950,000 of that committed already, and then we just added another 750.
And
So maybe just an idea of where we would.
went off the Grand County cost, not the estimated cost, correct? Okay.
So the capital projects, general fund, which is Fund 34, estimated after spending just a shade under $2 million from what had been at 5.8 million at the beginning of 2025, leaving an estimated opening balance of 2026 at 3.9 million in that fund. Of that 3.9 million, 948,000 has already been committed or approved for airport projects that still haven't been broken ground up. So that's basically, just to pick to use a round number that's easy to remember. There's about $3 million in the capital projects general fund. So funds used now from that fund, for projects such as this are coming out of 3 million sort of remaining.
Okay, so I just kind of want to be very, the budget's been freaking me out. Not sleeping very well when I think about it. And so I just want to be very, clear, and I'm more than happy to make these approve these tonight, but that, that fund is getting lower and lower. And we did make a couple of expenditures last year that were nowhere on any list. So I just want to be very clear that as commissioners, we need to be very careful that we are absolutely just making purchases that are needs at this point, you know, and I know these guys have done an amazing job and we asked them, and Chantel, it's the work you've done on this is amazing, and then prioritizing the needs. And I think we really are at a, you know, to me, at a place where we just need to be we're tightening our belts, and we are, you know, doing the kind of the absolute needs at this point. Can't be making any fluffy purchases this year. That's my opinion.
And keep in mind, there are others, like with the roads department, that need to be done this year.
But these are different.
Different, right, yes, understood.
They're different.
Yes,
B road.
understood.
So yeah, the road has
Yep,
that.
understood, yes, thank you.
Kind of its own little.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, thank you.
Chair?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with Trish's sentiment. I do think these are important. I think leveraging the insurance money for Star Hall and Grand Center is really, that's basically $70,000. And it's actually at least 5 years on the Star Hall, on the Ooksta project, as we talked about it when I was on it, my very first year on the commission. And at that time, the estimated cost was $250,000. So the longer we delay on this thing, it's just the price is going up. Yeah, I know it's a big.
I think it's
problem.
Okay.
Yeah, no, so I mean, I think once again, you did a fantastic job of explaining this and putting this all into an order. And, you know, I think it's up to this body to actually start making some of these hard decisions. It's one thing to come up here and say like, oh, we need to watch our funds, but I haven't seen anything actually getting taken off. And I think that all of these are great needs. You know, I mean, I think they're all great needs, no matter how we hit them. So it's gonna take us actually making some hard decisions at some point and not continue to keep moving forward. I did want to just ask more questions. Can you explain the need once again of the fire suppression? Because did we not do a quick fix last year on that?
Not entirely sure. Angie is mostly in charge of that. I wasn't part of it.
And emergency things.
An emergency fix, yeah.
Even out there or something, was
I
it?
didn't know she had a leak of some sort, broken pipe.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was mitigated, so.
I got you.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
It was a backflow preventer. A backflow preventer prevents glycol coming back into the watering system.
That's right, that's what that.
And during that time, it shut the facility down, and we lost roughly three smaller events. But and I don't know spitball numbers, so I would ask Gabe on that, but if we lose a Jeep Safari coming up in just a few short months, our taxation revenue alone off of that is a tenth of this, a cost in one. So the potential, like Jacques said, has been there we just keep adding a year to it, but it's been there for years.
I do know that the glycol is up for replacement this year or next year.
It's past due last I knew.
And I think it's like, last time I heard it was like $20,000 just for the glycol.
And it has holes. And
That's
so
not
it
the
leaks out.
pipes containing.
You should replace and then just leaks out.
Yeah, I understand.
This is to put a powder system in it, right?
Yeah, there's a couple options. There's either an air compressor that pushes air into the system to just keep those just full of air. Then as soon as the pipe breaks, it sprays water everywhere, or the powdered system. I think it's just a ton of powder in there, and I'm not entirely sure about it.
It's different than the system we currently have.
Yeah.
So
The lifespan of the powdered systems that are going to be presented, I know them because we're installing them on some other businesses, but the lifespan on the powdered system is actually far superior to any of the watered systems. So we'll get a longer use period out of a dry system if it's presented and chosen. So
Yeah, I can see the need there. Let's go back to that question. But for that, is that 435? Are there different systems that we could put in that might have different cost, or is this a one size fits all 435? That's your number?
And I think Angie couldn't be here tonight. I think she's at training, so I don't know if, that's something if you do have a lot of questions on that are for.
Might have been a big fluffy number that she's gonna get bids on.
Yeah, well, I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
I know, but I mean, if we're talking $500,000, I think I'd like to have a little bit more.
She's explored these projects multiple years for the last 3 years at least. And I think she's come up with the best system, and I think she's got certain companies that have quoted her these amounts of money. And I think this is locked in for what they highlight, what is being recommended for that facility.
And when I reached out to every department head, and, you know, to meet with them and ask them what needs and what it looks like down the road. This was her number one, and I did ask that everyone receive estimates, current estimates for these projects. So I would say that 435 is pretty on point for that one.
That's a risky business because if it goes up, then she's stuck coming back to you guys to approve the funds, so.
Yeah.
And last I knew, the 435 was an exact bid from postal meetings, and there were a couple far higher bids. There was one lower for a replacement of a glycol system, but the life expectancy on the glycol systems wasn't conducive to spending that much money versus looking towards a dry system.
So it's 6:03. So do you guys want to pause this conversation and go to citizens be heard, or do we want to, can we take a vote? I know the bill had a comment, so Bill's comment and we want to vote, or do we want to pause? Okay, let's go ahead and listen to Bill, and then we're going to vote on the number 5, which is the capital list.
Or weren't we combining it with the pre-op?
Only combining, what you want to add to that list.
Yeah.
It's two different lists that need to be approved in separate, however,
We're putting those others in
the requests from department heads are to put those few items over onto the pre-auth list.
Yeah, so we'll come back and approve the pre-authorization list after probably after citizens be heard and the public hearing. So we'll come back, but go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, first, Chantel, I just want to thank you. I think you're a trooper with what you're going through and everything that you're doing in here and helping us as much as you have been, far more than we deserve probably. I can't thank you enough, so.
I appreciate it.
I do want to make, a little bit of a comment around this capital budget is here for these very needs. We can continue to have these discussions and point out that money was spent one place or another, but that is what this money's for, and it needs to be used. Some of it right down to the steps that Sean's talking about it. They're very simple little things, but we need to spend that money on them, or we could save it and utilize it for a lawsuit later if somebody does. So this fund, I understand we are bringing it down, but there's a reason for that. There's needs all over this county, and to discount them whether they're at the airport or the front steps doesn't make any sense. So again, I appreciate you, all that you're doing for us, and both of you guys as well. I mean, this is a huge balance that we have to do to try and find funds to fill these gaps when these needs comes up, and that's why we're here up here. So glad to be a part of it.
Okay, so we have a motion from Bill and then a second from Mike McCurdy to move these 1 to 5 items from the long-range capital plan over to the pre-authorized list. So go ahead and take a vote. Who's all in favor? And those opposed? Okay, so we have, that passes 6-1 with Commissioner Martinez opposed. And we will finish approving the capital list and the pre-authorized list after.
Okay, thank you.
After we have citizens to be heard, and we'll do the public hearing, because I think we have someone online to present this. Thank you. Okay, moving along to citizens to be heard. Do we have anyone in the chambers that would like to speak at 6 a.m. citizens to be heard? But I think we have somebody online.
I believe, is AJ here for? Ask AJ if he.
AJ, are you here to speak for citizens to be heard?
Can't hear you.
Yes, he's not.
Can't hear you.
How about now?
Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you all. My name's AJ Throgmorton, a community member in Grand County. And I wanted to hit on first, every time that long-range cap plan budget comes up, I'm just such a big fan and looking forward to that Spanish Valley multi-use path. That one always catches my attention, so excited for that one. I wanted to give a take on a couple of comments from earlier. First, comments that were made from the public is in regards to the timed entry, some people I know are definitely adamantly opposed to timed entry for their own various reasons. And so be it. But what gives me pause are the people who are purely adamant that timed entry is the only plan. If you look at it, the ACE plan isn't anti-timed entry at all. It's just pro a bunch of other really good ideas too. So at the end of the day, we're a gateway community. We're here to serve visitors of the LaSalle's, Canyonlands, Sand Flats, Arches, and we want those experiences to be great for our visitors. So I think that ACE is really aiming to improve that experience for those visitors. The next one is it's come up more than a few times. And I think I've seen more than one opinion article or opinion letter in the TI about it related to transparency for travel for a few commissioners. And first I wanted to say thank you to those of you that do take the time to travel. I think it's extremely valuable when you do, and more commissioners could and should partake. To the claim that we need more transparency, it kind of seems like a storm in a teacup to me. Any travel is reported on during commissioners' reports and open public meetings, just like we're doing right here. So again, thank you to all of you, but to those of you that are taking the time to travel, especially.
Thank you, AJ. Do we have anyone else? Did you have more to comment? Sorry, did I just cut you off?
No, that was it. Thanks.
Do we have anyone else in the chambers that would like to speak? And no one else might. Okay, so I think we have a presentation from here. So the public hearing and consideration adoption of proposed impact fee facilities plans and proposed impact fee ordinance, impact fee enactment, and to adopt, enact, or modify the impact fee facilities plans, written impact fee analyses, and an impact fee enactment for transportation, sheriffs, and parks. And we have Cody Dieter from EFG Consultants joining virtually on Zoom.
Hello, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, it's great to be with you. Sorry I'm not able to attend in person. Appreciate working with the county on the impact fee analysis and other projects we've worked on historically. Wanted to share this a summary of the analysis that has been performed and answer any questions that the commission may have, and answer any questions that might come up from the public. And please feel free as I go through this presentation to stop me and ask questions. I appreciate Commissioner Winfield. We had a discussion this morning about a couple of items, and that was helpful as to make sure that this was in good shape to share tonight. So as was mentioned, this impact fee is for transportation, sheriff, and parks. And just want to share a couple of items with you to start off with. First, this is the statutory language of what an impact fee is. So it is a payment of money imposed upon new development as a condition of development to mitigate the impact of new development on public infrastructure. And so the things that are included in that are like a new home or a new business, and except in rare circumstances, it would not include a remodel, only if they were expanding in a meaningful way. The methodology that was utilized that comes from a state statute is presented here on the screen. We start with a look at the demand on your systems, which is really the new growth that we anticipate happening over the next 10 years. And that was estimated based on historic growth patterns, and working with the staff to develop that projection. After looking at demand, the next step is looking at your current level of service. What level of service you're currently providing for the various systems that we're talking about here, and we have to perpetuate that same level into the future. The next step is looking at excess capacity. How are we going to provide this level of service? We first looked at excess capacity, and in this analysis, we're assuming there is no excess capacity in the sheriff, parks, systems, or transportation. So it's all looking at new growth and new facilities. The next step is looking at funding. If there has been funding provided in the past or in the future that will fund any of the impact fee related facilities. If they're grant funds or funds from another source outside of the county, such as UDOT, for example, on roads, that money needs to be excluded from the calculation. And also if there's any anticipation of using debt, we can include the cost of issuing that debt and any interest that might be on any debt that was issued. That is not the case here. We're not anticipating using any debt. If that were to change, we could add that into the impact fee. So just looking more at detail at the demand analysis, we're looking at what's going to happen in the next 10 years in unincorporated portions of the county. Looking at, again, historic growth and the unincorporated portions of the county, residential ERCs or equivalent residential connections, which is a way to balance commercial and compare it to a residential unit. In 2024, you had approximately 2,177 ERCs in unincorporated county. We estimated adding an additional 1,244 over the next 10 years. And that includes, when you look at from a transportation standpoint, adding another 11,000, new daily trips on your road system. So one of the questions that often comes up is what happens if this projection is inaccurate? Well, we know it's always going to be somewhat inaccurate. As long as we are reasonably expect this growth to occur, then we're okay to move forward with the impact fees. In the next couple of years, if growth were to happen more dramatically or less dramatically in a way that would impact what facilities you're planning to build, that would be a good time to revisit your impact fee. Let's look at each of the levels of service for the three systems we're talking about today. First, transportation. Transportation engineers, so we worked with Wall Engineering on this and Jones and DeMille. And the measurement that's used for roads is service level D. That basically is this definition: traffic flow becomes unstable, speed subject to sudden change, and passing is difficult. Anything at that level or below we're talking about is unacceptable. And so we're trying to keep that above a level, service level D. And so all the analysis that was performed assumed that service level D and having that perpetuated to the future. Next, looking at the sheriff, there's really two components here. The first is the full-time equivalent per ERC. So 0.026 full-time employees per equivalent residential connection. And that establishes how many full-time equivalent staff we need for the sheriff. And then we look at how much square feet you currently are providing for the sheriff's different services that they provide where they're housed. And so we come up with a square feet per FTE of 170 square feet. So we need to continue to provide that same level moving forward as we add new growth to the county. Looking at parks, the level of service is defined here as the amount of dollars invested in parks and rec services per resident. We do not charge the parks impact fee to commercial unless it has a relation to demand, such as if it were an Airbnb or some type of commercial entity that included housing. So historically, when you look at the things that you funded, excluding grants, which is you have many park facilities and trails built with grants, $2,660 per resident has been spent on parks and trails facilities. Now, again, looking at existing capacity, there currently is no existing capacity. That's our assumption for transportation, sheriff, and parks. So new growth will have to be serviced by adding new facilities. Here's a list of new facilities for transportation. This list is more detailed in the document that you have. Some of these projects are joint projects with Moab City, and so only the portion that is the county's responsibility has been included. I appreciate, again, Commissioner Winfield pointing out that the second to the bottom there, Mill Creek Drive, Aggie Boulevard, traffic signal is a project that has already been completed. And your portion, the county's portion, was 50,000, and that's what we show here. So when you look at this full list of transportation projects, there's 4.7 million of total projects. Of those that are going to happen in the next 10 years, 1,073,000 of those are planned to be built in the next 10 years that will come out of the county's budget. The rest come from other sources or are beyond the 10-year horizon of this plan. Next, looking at new facilities for sheriff. Speaking with the sheriff and talking about how much new space would be needed based on the level of service. 5,550 square feet facility would be needed in the next 10 years to serve that growth. And using $550 per square foot, that comes out a little over 3 million for projects over the next 10 years that would be needed. Parks, we anticipate that you'll need to build or spend almost $3 million in new parks facilities over the next 10 years to meet, to continue that level of service that you currently are providing to your residents at this time. So now looking at the impact fees on the top there, this is a single family residential, what they would pay for their impact fees. Currently you charge $1,900, just under $1,900 for a standard single family residence. Proposed would be almost $6,000, the biggest increase, a little bit in transportation, primarily in sheriff, and doubling in parks. And so that's a change of about $4,000. And just for comparison, some other peer entities that charge impact fees, Wasatch County, Summit, Tooele, and then Richfield City. You can see that transportation, you're a little bit low compared to other counties, a little bit higher than Tooele County. Sheriff, you're a bit higher than the other comparables, and parks, you're kind of in the middle of that group. This the final slide here, and then we can answer questions or open it up to the public. These are the steps needed to adopt the impact fee. You first set the public hearing, which you've done. The documents, the impact fee facility plan and impact fee analysis were noticed at least 2 weeks ago and have been available to the public for those 2 weeks for them to review if they so chose. You're now holding the public hearing to receive public comment, and once you've done that and you feel comfortable, you could consider an ordinance for adoption, and that new impact fee would not go into effect for 90 days. Whenever you chose to act on that ordinance. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions from anyone.
I've got a couple just comments I think I'll make, and I went over a lot of different things with Cody on this. And I appreciate you taking the time, Cody. I know you're probably busy like all of us. On the report on section 5, where it talks about parks, IFFP and the IFA, and this is probably more of a question for Gabe, but I'm curious what we have in the restricted funds currently, or if that, and I'm not asking for right now, Gabe, I'm just, I would like to know what we have in there. I know as Jacques wanting to have the meeting on the bike path, and we've got other projects. I'm curious what's sitting there. The other thing, page 29, I believe here. The county may choose to adopt a fee lower than the maximum impact fee identified, but not higher. I just wanted to point that out to the commission that we have that option. We don't necessarily have to go, and I know Cody's explained it a little bit there. But I just kind of wanted to reiterate that one. We can come up with a number that we all agree on and move forward with that. And then on page 48 of 51, there's just a sentence in here that kind of struck me, but it is, since infrastructure generally must be built ahead of growth. And as we recently went through with the whole Novak thing multiple times in some other subdivisions, I think that is one of the main things that we need to be looking at here is some of the future growth that's needed to allow people, if we choose to allow them to subdivide or whatever. So I see a need to make sure that we are looking forward towards some infrastructure that allows people to build out their property rather than having it backwards. Otherwise, we're trying to force that cost of that, all of that infrastructure on a developer. So those were the only points I had. I wanted to bring up to the public and to Cody. And I just again appreciate all your time today, Cody.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Curdy.
I understand where the funding would go, but it's gonna be $4,000 more dollars, give or take right there. 3,900 some, but it's gonna be 4,000 more bucks to build the house next year. On top of groundwater water and sewer impact fees. I understand the need, but I can't charge $4,000 to myself to build another house just next year. I mean, how do we expect to single family homes to be built with adding more fees in any sense of haste?
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just have a question. So I just wanted to make sure that I have those numbers correct. So we currently charge $1,806. Is it for the total single family?
Yeah, I looked at that earlier today. I think the draft we had before excluded the police. It was called police before, but it's similar to sheriff. So I believe it's 1994, but
Okay.
I haven't looked at your specific ordinance to make sure that's correct. But it's close to that number.
And the proposed is up to 5,978.
That's correct. That would be the maximum that you could legally charge, but as was mentioned, you could charge all the way down to 0 if you chose.
Okay, and then looking at the comparables, we'd be looking at Washington County, they charge, or I'm sorry, the Wasatch County, they'd be charging $30.15. And Summit County is charging $3,427. So we'd be considerably higher. Would that put us as the most expensive place in the state for impact fees?
No. And one thing that's challenging is we're just looking at these 3 components. So there are other areas that charge other fees. But I wouldn't be able to tell you that you're the highest or the lowest.
But for these fees that we're reviewing right now, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, I see that there's quite a disparity there between 3,000 and almost 6,000.
Richfield is higher. 25 plus 765 is over $4,000.
Okay, yeah, Richfield's at $4,000. Okay.
Yeah, but not quite as high as 59. I didn't include, most of these impact fees are not charged by counties. Most of them are charged by cities. So you'll see the cities that have these 3 components that are charging 10 or 15,000. It's all just dependent upon needs and management decisions. So you certainly wouldn't be at the top of that list, but you wouldn't be at the bottom either. If we were to look at all the cities across the state.
Okay, well, thanks. I'd be interested to know kind of where this would put us inside of that, in that scale right there. But I kind of agree with what Commissioner Curdy had said. I mean, it's hard to look at these types of fees and then we're trying to incentivize folks to come in here and build affordable housing.
Go ahead, Commissioner Heather.
I think just to that point, and I'm not disagreeing, but also when you this is roughly 1 or less than 1% of the total cost, and it gets rolled into a 30-year mortgage, it's not as impactful, I think, as it might look like once you look at the big picture of actually building a single family residence.
Go ahead. I'm trying to have a question for Bill. because you, with this, our impact of these road, when people are figuring out costs per square foot, do impact fees get rolled into that?
Yes, they do. Yeah. This will just increase that number.
So that would just increase the number. That's what I thought it would do. That's where you would see it. And so that it would just be rolled into the entire loan or however people were doing. It's always, I don't know, it's always so hard to decide, but thank you. That's what I thought happened to it. That sounds funny, but, yeah, okay.
Did anybody else have any questions? Cody?
Appreciate your time, Cody.
Do we have any
Pleasure, Cody.
comments? It's a public hearing, so do we have anybody from the community that would like to speak? Okay, so the public hearing will remain open for written comments until 5 p.m. on Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. You can send letters to commission@grandcountyutah.gov. And we will continue our conversation on our capital improvements project list and our chair reauthorized procurement list. So we're on number 4 and number 5, kind of combine those. So at this moment in time, we have our capital improvements project list has.
I need to clarify.
Yeah.
In your total, I think you were adding up what it's going to cost Grand County, the 213,421 and then the 68,556. We need to approve the whole amount because it's a reimburse, so we'll pay the whole amount and then that reimbursement will come into the clerk's office.
Okay, I don't think that we would approve the amount, we just approved the.
Okay, I was talking about how much more it was gonna add to the pre-auth list.
Yeah.
So I did total the pre-auth list and let me share my screen. It's spelled the same thing. Sure.
When we get those reimbursements from the insurance, do they go back into the capital? Okay, do you?
Yeah, in this case, we actually credit it right to the same expense line, which is not usually what we do with revenue, but in this case, that's kind of how we treat those. Yeah.
So I did take, I removed the estimates off of here and left these at the amounts, either the grant fund total or, if they said it's between 4 and 9, but they were approved for 9, I left that. So we do have a total now at the bottom and I added in the new ones per commission approval a moment ago, so that is your total. Okay, just for your information.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So do we have, so we're gonna move back to number 4, which is the pre-authorized procurement list. We've added 5 items to this list, and so do we have any more comments or questions on this? Do you want to approve it with those 5 additions? Go ahead, Commissioner Winfield.
I move to approve the chair pre-authorized procurement list as presented and amended in the meeting. Thank you for putting that total in there.
Mary?
2-1.
And she seconds. Mike?
Uh,
Do you have a comment?
I have a question.
Okay.
Was the media plan that was for Madden that was already approved, should that be on here? I don't see any of the Moab Office of Tourism's expenses, and I do know I have quite a few things.
I reached out and I did not hear back, so I don't have anything added from them.
So every advertising expense will be coming in front of the commission?
If it's over $5,000. And I did send the email out and I've never heard back. Sorry.
Quinn, can you answer that?
I mean, I think we approved the marketing plan with the giant spend and then each individual item doesn't need to come back. I also think that.
I'm just wondering, does it need to be on this list right here? I mean, even though it's been approved, that's where it seems like there's a gray line.
I would offer you a personal opinion, if I may. I think that based on the community's willingness and the commission majority's desire to see tourism increase and those marketing efforts be greater than they have been in the past, I think that bringing that before the commission actually plays well and is a good communication to the public about
Okay, I see.
the amount of marketing that we do, so. But it's up to you guys. If you guys want to approve a big spend all at once, we can do that.
Well, it's not ready for tonight.
No, it's definitely not ready for tonight now.
But we have already approved the media plan. So those
So
things
it's already approved, so it seems.
It's already approved, but it's just every time that we go to, it then goes back into the purchasing policy. So now you have,
We have our agency of record and their spend is pretty, so yeah, every ad that they run is not gonna come back before the commission. That's already approved and we've moved on with that. If there are new expenditures that come up in the Moab Office of Tourism that are not approved or are part of their approved budget, then yes, they will have to come back for them.
that's not already part of their approved budget.
Yes.
Okay, that was my question that I had.
Okay, do we have any other? We have a motion and second. Do we have any other conversation? No. Okay, I'll take a vote to approve the chair pre-authorized procurement list with the additions. The motion made by Bill and seconded by Mary. All in favor? Okay, that passes 7-0. And we'll move to the capital improvements project list. So we have the capital improvements project list. These items will come back before us if they feel like they need it, but we can still approve them as far as that these are the items in the county that are needed for capital planning. And if there's things that come up as emergency on this list, they'll come back before us. Nothing here except for the ones that we just approved will be bought without our approval.
Correct, these are not in budget.
So go ahead, Mary.
I move to approve the long-range capital plan as presented
Okay, and Michael seconds.
and amended.
Amended. Okay. All right, any more conversation? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I'd like to know where we're at for finding out the reserve balance on the TRT. What the makeup is of that bracket.
So while we still had Squire Consultants under contract last year, I was able to take advantage of a special project with them to make that analysis. It was completed in mid-December. I've just been too busy since then. But I'm looking forward to diving into the analysis that they presented me. And so it should be, I took steps to get there. Just haven't sort of gone full circle on it.
Okay.
Is this regarding the information center?
Yeah, for the information center. I don't know how many times did you have to go out there last year for repairs?
It's constant. It's been a constant since I started.
I think this is something that we need to get taken care of, so.
So hopefully, as soon as we know that reserve balance, we could.
As soon as you guys find money for it, wherever it's coming from, just let me know and we'll amend budget, we'll pre-approve it, approve it, whatever you need, I'll do.
Okay.
Thanks.
Just let me know that I have money to spend.
And then the question was, there was two options on that, wasn't there?
I think there was, I can't remember what the details were. I think it had something to do with the extra bathroom for the employees.
Yeah, and so
Remodeled it as is or remodeled with an extra bathroom.
So I don't know if you still have any of that, but if you can maybe just send me an email so we can kind of look at that. And then as soon as Gabe's gotten the answer on where we are with that redevelopment convention or if we're gonna have to pull this out of, capital, sure, that would be.
I'm not sure how long, and we may need to get a new estimate. Is that estimate still current, do you think, for that?
Yeah. It's probably not. I did add 20,000. Just
Okay.
it's been a year, so I did add a buffer, but who knows?
Yeah, thank you so much, John.
Yeah.
Commissioner McCurdy.
Just wanted to know when and if we do find the money for it, where it's coming from, et cetera. Is this a concurrent project with them remaining open, seeing that they are quite the hub?
I'd assume we'd have to shut down for maybe a week or two.
Sooner is better.
So sooner is better or later in the winter.
Yeah.
This fall would be probably perfect. By the time you guys find money and we get contracts or state contract, whatever, then we could just say, let's do it fall.
Okay.
26.
There's also the possibility that a lot of bathrooms are closed down that provide a different facility as well, so that the main hub can remain open.
Exactly.
The slight problem with that is, I think part of the remodel included the doors. For the.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Thank you.
so did we have a,
First.
oh yeah, Mary.
Second.
Okay, sorry. Started that here. So we have a vote, so we go ahead and take a vote on the approval of the capital improvements project list. All in favor? Okay, passes 7-0. All right, and then 6 was taken care of in the
Number 4.
number 4.
Yes.
Yep,
Does Stephen agree? Stephen, do you agree that we've disposed of item number 6 by moving that to the pre-authorized list?
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
so 6 is done. Thank you very much.
I really appreciate, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys,
Yeah, Michelle.
I appreciate Com Admin too. They helped out a lot. Pre-authorized. Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to move on to number 7, which is the job description revision and status change of dispatch supervisor, or personal services director, Tess Barger.
While she was coming up, just wanted to let Chantel know how much we appreciated her work and also how much we appreciate Gay and allowing Chantel to those services.
Yeah, thank you again, Chantel.
Thank you.
Again. Yeah, all right, Tess.
All right, hello, commissioners, good evening. So item number 7 is job description revision and status change for our dispatch supervisor position. So as you all recall, during the 2026 budget season, we proposed a list of positions that we recommend their statuses change from non-exempt to exempt. How we identified those positions were any positions that were supervisors, office managers, directors, and chief deputy positions. The reason behind that is because both the wages as well as the duties that they were performing qualify for those positions to be shifted over to an exempt status. We also recommend that in order to bring the entire county into a position where we had continuity among the status of positions. About half of our director / chief deputy / supervisor positions were already exempt and half weren't. So in order to make it equitable and fair to all employees, we recommended that we go ahead and bring them all into the same category. That being said, development that happened that we weren't aware of at the time that it would be happening is that the dispatch supervisor is actually the chain of command with the Greene County Sheriff's Office, and specifically over in the jail section, has changed. The dispatch supervisor previously was reporting directly to the jail commander, and this position is now going to be reporting directly to the correctional sergeants. And the large reason for that is so that the dispatch team has more support. There's a correctional sergeant on site at all times. Our dispatchers are obviously performing their duties 24/7. And so with this chain of command adjustment, they will have 24/7 support. So our correctional sergeants are non-exempt, they're hourly staff, and it doesn't make any sense to have a position that is exempt report to a position that's not exempt.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
I move to approve the revised dispatch supervisor job description as presented and reclassify this position status from exempt to non-exempt.
Okay, and Mike seconds. Do you have any? Yes.
Just noting, there was a couple changes that happened to one staff member in my office, Terry Hines. There have been requests, and there are probably going to be requests, and I don't know if it'll be something the commission will consider. This substantially changed her and I know some other individuals in the county, and likely others will be asking, and I think will be coming to the commission to ask for some changes to their classification as well. I'm just noting that, and so I just noting that for the commissioners, you'll probably see the additional requests come up.
And might I respond to the feedback from the county attorney? So going into the budget season, when we decided that it would be prudent for us to make this recommendation again to provide continuity across the county, we first reached out to all department heads, so all supervisors of positions to be looking at recommending the status change and ask for their feedback, as well as if they had any concerns about that status change, to please, let us know so that we could go through those conversations and then potentially based on the positions, actual job duties, et cetera, pull those positions from recommendation. For any positions that we didn't receive feedback on or received supportive feedback on, we did move ahead with those recommendations. And then, educated the staff upon those approvals on what the differences between non-exempt and exempt are. What I found is that particularly for staff that are often put in positions of having to work overtime, those are primarily the positions that have had some difficulty, adjusting. And what I would really love, certainly in my position, is that we continue to move forward in a manner that it is not a necessity for staff to work 40+ hours every single week, 80+ hours every single week. As a solution, as opposed to the solution being overtime every single week.
Okay, thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
And any more comments, questions? Go ahead and call for a vote. We have a first by Bill and a second by Mike. Those in favor of the job description, vision, and status change of dispatch supervisor. Okay, that passes 7-0. And number 8 has been postponed until the next meeting. Thank you, Tess. Have a good night.
Thank you all very much.
And we're gonna move on to number 9, which is the EAS and EEA. Study to determine air service at County Limits Regional Field. And we have our airport director, Steve Gleason, and I think Melissa is also going to come and present with him. We'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Steve.
Okay, so you guys are all pretty familiar with the EAS program, our service program. Most of you were here last time, right, when they did it. So last time it came up for renewal was 3 years ago, and there were a lot of different things going on in the world of aviation that led us to have to go from an EAS to an AEAS, which is a different way of doing things. What that allows you to do is have a scheduled charter rather than an actual scheduled carrier. That was because of a pilot shortage at SkyWest. Anyway, there were a lot of things that put the county under the gun last time around to make this and to sign the contract that it's handed to us. So this time around, I wanted to see if we could maybe do what we did in Provo when we developed air service. This is not developing air service necessarily, but I was not as familiar with the AEAS or the EAS as like I needed to be. So when you do that, you find a subject matter expert. So I was able to find a gentleman named Luke Schmidt, who I talked to several different people that do this type of development, and he came in with a price that I honestly could not believe, based on what we paid in Provo to have a similar study and research done. What we would like to hire him, he's hired to do is guide us through the AES, or the EAS process. That's one of the decisions we're going to have to make is AES or EAS. So he helps guide us through that. He also does market studies to find out what our community needs, so that when we make the decision this time, it's not with a gun to our head. It's making the best decision for the community. And I'm not saying that choosing Contour wasn't the best decision for the community. It may well have been. It may have been the only option. Yeah. So this time around, where we've got a little more time, we definitely want to sort of plan ahead and make sure that we have plenty of options and that we can pick the best one. Then we also wanted someone who was an expert in the field and could guide us through the contract portion of it, so that we could write a contract that was favorable to the city and not just write the only contract that we put. What's that?
For the county.
I'm sorry, I keep doing that. I do that over and over again. I apologize. So, lost my train of thought now. Sorry. The idea was to get him to be able to sign to help us build a contract that was favorable to us. And to do that, you have to have a lot of information, which he needs to gather. I don't know if you know this or not, but the RFP, the request for proposals for our essential air service is already out on the street. The Washington DC put that out on January 30th. So when I met Mr. Schmidt and then I did some due diligence to find out if anybody else could do it cheaper, not even close. Most didn't even reply. I held a meeting with Melissa and Mark and Quinn, and Bill was there. I don't remember who all was there. Oh, and Jason Taylor was there to kind of present with Luke Schmidt there with us. He presented what he could do, and Jason Taylor immediately said that he thought he could get City of Moab to contribute half the cost. Well, that didn't work out, but luckily Melissa was there and said that it could work out with economic development funds through another grant source, and I'll let you explain that portion of it.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we were hoping to be able to work with the city and have a couple of other options. Bummer, it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. So we took it to the EOAB board as a source of funding through the RCG program through GOEO. So that was presented last week and the board voted and is recommending to the commission that we spend RCG funds to be able to use a consultant to expand our air service.
How much RCB funds do we have?
So total each year we qualify for 200,000. This would be up to 50,000. The reason why I presented it that way may or may not be the right way to do it is his contract was for $40,000 plus travel expenses and some other hard costs. And since we need to know kind of what is the definition or the top end of that, the only way that I knew how to structure it was to just say up to 50,000.
My conversations with him will come in below that, but
I just need some more clarification.
So, okay, Mike has his hand up, sorry.
Oh,
Good, Mike.
I'd like to make the motion. I move to approve the recommendation of the Grand County Economic Opportunity Advisory Board to allocate up to $50,000 from Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, GOEO, rural counties grant for professional services to support negotiation and procurement of expanded essential air service contract for Canyonlands Regional Airport in fall 2026.
Okay, so we have a person second, and Mary, go ahead.
I just need more clarification is, so I wasn't quite I didn't quite understand. So you're saying we may get 20,000 or we may get 50,000, or they're going to give us, it's all going to, no matter what, it's all going to come out of that grant? That's what I'm trying to get.
Yes.
So this will be grant funded?
Yes.
Okay. That's what because see, I got confused when you said 2,000 to 20,000 to 50,000. I'm going, well, yes, I got a little, my hairs got crossed.
Go ahead, Jacques.
And that's just to clarify, that's a done deal. We don't have to jump through any more hoops on that, or we just have to fill out paperwork, or if we vote on this tonight, we're voting on that money funding this study.
Being paid by grant.
Yeah, okay.
We're
I think that we will still have, as the RCG funds come in, so we're allocating that money. Usually that money comes in toward the end of the year, and I'm sure I'll have, just like today on our consent agenda, we had all of those RCG funds from last year. They were signed, so we'll see it again at some point, but it'll just be off signing those funds, but they're allocated from the Economic Opportunity Advisory Board for this amount.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, and I just want to, I think it was a lot cleaner to go this route than so much as the city wasn't interested in participating. I don't want to make it as if our sister city said no and we were out. I don't believe it ever even went to their council. So just clarification more than anything is that this just seemed like the cleaner way to go forward.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, I'm really excited about it. So we had a first from Commissioner McCurdy and a second from Winfield. Let's go ahead and take a vote. Those in favor, say aye. All right, 7-0, that passes. Thank you. Lisa, thanks, Steve. And next is number 10, which is the CIB loan closing airport ARF truck. And we'll let our mission administrator, Mark, tell us what's up.
We had went through the process of acquiring a loan from CIB to pay for the ARF truck. We've had a little change that we have another option at this point. Judd Hill and Mr. Gleason have talked, they have conveyed the message to us that Oshkosh will build the truck with a payment of 25% as opposed to the 50% or the entire amount that we had been told before. With that option, it's possible for us to utilize the capital project of the capital projects fund and loan that money to ourselves to pay for the truck build without having to actually close on the bond issue for the CIB funds. It would save us about $40,000 in the neighborhood of going that route. And before the truck is delivered, which should be May of 27, the FAA funds will already be to us, and we wouldn't have to utilize that 1 year bond in the CIB funds if we wanted to go that route. The only concern that I have is I hadn't planned on the additional 700,000 coming out of capital projects tonight, which is going to put us down to probably right around 2 million if we utilize the additional $266,000 loan from that fund.
To be reimbursed?
I'm sorry.
But will it be reimbursed?
Yes.
Be reimbursed.
Yes,
Okay.
it will.
I thought that's what you said, right?
No, the grants usually come out in October, but it just depends. The FAA is backed up right now because of a partial shutdown. They're not even in their offices. But this grant is already on the guaranteed CIP list. So the grant is coming and it will come this fall. My best estimate is before November is what is talked about.
Yeah.
So
it would save us the issuance cost and it would save us 1 year's of interest cost if we wanted to do it that way.
So so right now, what's on our number 10 is the fiscal impact, that $34,000 was the closing cost for this loan. So we would not be using this closing cost loan because we won't have to close on the loan. We would just be taking a loan out of our capital to pay that 25% of the truck.
That's right.
Which is about
$266,000.
So.
Yes.
And then the CIB money comes back to us. Once we start, basically, like Mark said, we're loaning money to ourselves. CIB money comes back in.
Yeah, so we save the interest and we save this closing cost fees.
And obviously that's a guarantee. So that's a good deal.
Yeah, so. Okay.
So without it being the action item for the 266,000. Yeah, I think, can we then make a motion to spend the 266,000 instead of the fiscal impact estimated in this agenda summary?
You just need to make a motion for what we need to do. Just don't look at the recommended motion on number 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
Exact number.
The exact number, and I don't have an invoice sitting in front of me for the 25%, but what I've calculated is $266,137.75.
Or if you use 25%.
I'd like to make the motion to put forth the 25% down for the ARF truck. Construction of the ARF truck.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Brian? Okay, any other discussion?
I just have a question real quick on that repayment. So this eventually will be a repayment from the FAA.
Yeah, this is an AIP project. So it's an airport development program project that's already been approved by the FAA. It's a grant. There's a 10% match on it, which is already been factored.
So is there any risk of there being funding that's withheld and that we're basically left out? It's
always possible. I've never, ever seen it happen. Once you've been put on the list for that year, they've already got the funding set aside for us.
So we're on the list that will be
Yeah.
paid back for this year.
Yeah, I've never seen them withhold funds after they've told us. They wouldn't have allowed us to go to Oshkosh and start the whole process if they didn't know that the funding was coming.
Okay.
So, and by the way, if we didn't have that CIB guaranteed loan, Oshkosh wouldn't have started the truck, nor would they have given us this opportunity to just do 25%.
Yeah.
Because we had that loan in place is why they're allowing us to do this.
So there is risk, but it's low.
It's, I can never say 100%, but 99.9, say that.
Like,
Wanted to say thanks to Mark. Normally I don't like to hand out loans without interest rate, but I like hearing that we're saving 40 grand on this. I mean, I know it's self-loaning, but saving 40 grand is saving 40 grand.
And Dana in our office helped with this as well, so.
Cool.
She was the one that began talking about this, so I appreciate her help. And also, Commissioner Winfield and CIB for giving us that option. And as of right now, we still have that option open. So we appreciate their help, and Marcus Kellers that had already done work for the bond issue. Previously donated those services.
Yeah, and for clarification, less Bill Winfield and actually more of the CIB, because I didn't get to actually vote on that. I abstained, but I do think that when we get through this whole process, some sort of appreciation to the CIB, even though we're not going to use their services and their funds, I think we want to keep that door open.
Yeah, Keith, I think always letting people know you.
Absolutely. Say this one, Steve. Okay. All right, so we have a motion from Mike and a second from Bill to use the 25% down out of our capital. And all those in favor?
Second.
Oh, second was Brian, sorry.
I'll take the credit.
7-0. All right, thanks. Brian Martinez was the second on that. All right, so moving on to number 11. Thank you, Steve, again. And thank you, Dana. The creation of an airport development subcommittee. So this is something that as I'm working through with economic development and Melissa and Economic Opportunity Board is, just having some more cohesive, we have our independent boards, but we don't really have our commissioners all on board with planning the future of our airport. And then we'll move on to the outdoor recreation as well. So that's why I'm recommending that we have an additional subcommittee. And so if there's any questions, I have the background is listed on the agenda summary.
I don't have a question. I would like to move to approve the creation of an airport development subcommittee and appoint commissioners McCandless, Winfield, and McGann. I think we discussed this a little bit during agenda review, and unless there's an opposition to that, I think bringing Mary in from the historical end with her.
You sure you want to take on another commitment and being chair and all the boards and such you're on is pretty intense.
It is, but this is a subcommittee, so we set our own time frame. We set our own hours. It's not like I have a meeting every other month, but it falls in line with the economic portion of this. Okay.
As always, to any of you who were just proposed, if needed, I'd be glad to fill in time on it as needed. On a need basis.
Okay.
So that was your motion?
Yeah, so Bill motioned and Mike seconded.
Okay.
So. Yes.
Yeah, I guess if you didn't want it, I
Oh, I do. I very
okay,
much
yeah.
want to be on it. I was concerned about Melody's time. I know how intense it is to be chair. I mean, it's a big job and I just wanted to make sure she wanted it.
Yeah, I won't be hopping on the next one by any means, no. Yeah, no, I really would like to be, and that's one of the pieces that I don't necessarily, because I'm not on the airport board and I'm not, you know, so it gives you another little piece of what's going on out there too. Anyways, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take a vote unless there's any more comments. No, so those in favor of the creation of the airport development subcommittee with, all right, 7-0. And the next one is the creation of an outdoor recreation subcommittee. And this is the same idea behind this one. It's just making sure that, I mean, we had a grant, you know, a letter of support from our Steward Moab tonight, but having all of those different entities coming in for grants and making sure that the commission knows what grants are going out and who's working on what grants and just more of a collaborative effort with commissioners. It's kind of my idea behind that. At first, I thought it would be more of a like motorized committee, but it seems like it needs to be more of an just all around outdoor recreation subcommittee. And Brian had his hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I moved to create an outdoor recreation subcommittee and appoint Commissioners Hadler and Martinez.
And Mary had her hand up.
Wait, hold on,
Hadler,
hold on.
Martinez.
I need a second first.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we were gonna, isn't it a third person, Rod?
I just made a motion for the two.
It can be two.
First, I need a second first before we can move forward.
Okay.
So, and I'll keep Scott here for just 1 second. You know, I think that myself and Commissioner Hadler worked well together on the motorized trail committee, and I think between the two of us that we would have a nice combination to get this together and maybe put together a strategic plan for how we want to see these grants come out throughout the county.
Mary, did you want to go ahead? Did you want to speak?
Oh, no, I'm comfortable with it. My voice is going for some reason. I'm comfortable with having Martinez and Hadler on it. I just know that Ms. Hadeen has been working on that grant for the archery and such, and she also brings in a different perspective as far as a different type of recreation than others are involved in. No, because I was thinking it was 3 people. I thought Hadeen would be another good addition, but we can vote on that separately.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell myself here for a moment. I would love to be on this committee. I just wrote down a bunch of stuff. So I've been a RAC member with the Division of Wildlife. I've been the chair of the RAC. I'm on my 2nd term in the RAC, and each of those are 6-year terms. So I'm intimately involved with shooting sports. I was a hunter education instructor for 8 years. I was a cross-country coach, avid trail runner. I was on the initial group of people that started the Friends of Indian Creek, which is a climbing inspired group that advocates for stewardship down in Indian Creek. And when you look at the Trail to Tomorrow, I looked at those breakdowns today and, you know, obviously people come here mainly for canyonlands and arches, and we know that, but you know, when you talk about activities, off-roading is 20%, river activities 13%, mountain biking 11%, hunting and fishing 5%. And I think I really represent that group here, and then road biking and then rock climbing. So if I'm not hiking, I don't run anymore because my hip won't allow me. But if I'm not hiking, I'm climbing. And so I think I'd be a great addition. And I have written some UOR grants and had success in that realm, and think that I would be a nice addition to that group.
Go ahead, Mike.
In working with you guys, even on the motorized, it is great to see. Yeah, it is great to see, not in the sense of polar opposites work so wholehandedly together, but to see that, move forward together so well. I mean, there's always a difference of opinion on this board, but I was really happy to work with you guys on that and liked how both of you did. So if you need a fill in, I'm always around, but thank you guys. Just want to rah for them too.
Okay, and then Commissioner Hadler had a comment.
Yeah, I'd be pleased to work on the board. I think it would be, it's right up my alley is obviously someone who's worked in outdoor rec since they got to Moab. But I'd second what Trish said. I think Trish would be a valuable part of this board. I think 3 people. We've got basically 3 people in every other subcommittee, so that would work. I think she brings a unique perspective, as she mentioned, with some of the, she fills in some of the blanks that Brian and I don't cover. We do cover a lot of the other stuff. So I would be I'd love to work with Trish as well as Brian on this. I think the 3 of us could do some good work, especially with Trish's background in grant writing, etc.
I think Mary's before you go.
Okay, I'd like to make a substitute motion to have the subcommittee be member Hadler, Hadeen, and Martinez.
I'll second that.
Okay, and Bill, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I think that with the constant attacks and the controversy that's ongoing right now, especially on social media, it makes it very difficult to want to work with someone. I don't want to discount Commissioner Hadeen's experience or expertise in this area, but it's also a committee that needs to move forward and get some things accomplished. And it's been very, very hard to sometimes do that. And so I just want that out there. I don't think for a minute that her value isn't there. It certainly is. But I also think that you have to have a little bit of cohesion and workability together. So that I won't support the substitute motion.
Mr. Heather?
But I think give it a chance. I mean, I think that we can work really well together. Trish has been reelected twice. She's a commissioner like the rest of us. I think this is an opportunity for the 4 of you guys. We don't have any subcommittees where there's 2 members of, I'll say, this side of the ideological divide on one of those subcommittees. And I think it would go a long way towards creating goodwill that might alleviate some of the issues on both sides that you were just discussing. So I think this would be a really nice move. I think it would be a move that would benefit the county, and that would cover a demographic that I certainly don't cover. The sportsman demographic. I think that actually does bring people into the county, and Trish has a wealth of experience there, as well as, like I said, the grant writing. So I think it'd be a really nice gesture, and I do think it might go a long way towards alleviating some of the back and forth that we've seen on every level.
I just want to comment on this. I think that Trish has a lot of great assets. She's been on all of those boards, like she said. I do know that there's subcommittees. I mean, right now, Trish and I are on a subcommittee, just her and I. So I don't think that 2 is something that, and there's also another subcommittee that had just Bill and you on it as well. So I mean, I don't think that 2 is unprecedented. It's been done before. And I do think that you 2 work together, and that there's things going on right now that I don't support that motion either. So I'm not gonna support that motion, but we can go ahead and call for a vote, or we can.
I'd like a second chance to speak up, not a second chance to stay. So that's okay. Yeah, no, I think the idea is that, first off, to get to Commissioner Hadler's point is this is an offer right here. We're not trying to stack this with 2 people on one side and 1 person on another. This is so that we would work equally on a board. I do also think that there's an opportunity by having just the 2 of us here on this. And the way that I saw it is I think that there's a lot of experience at this dais right here of other commissioners that could come in and help us out. So having that 3rd seat be open, I would be fine if somebody wants to come in and join on those meetings as is appropriate. Right there. So having that spot open could leave to say, that we might need Commissioner McCready's expertise on an item, or we might need Commissioner McCandless's expertise, especially if this is developed or going towards a lot of grants that require the economic development portion of it. So I do think that actually leaving that, the reason that I made the motion for the 2 was that leaving that spot open gives us the flexibility to keep that subcommittee moving. And I think that with just 2, we can move light and fast.
And Commissioner Winfield, and then.
I would add that, Jacques, I understand and agree with your point wholeheartedly about this is an opportunity. But let's talk about the next item. Number 14 is also an opportunity. So when we get to 14, let's see, because the whole thing that we've heard tonight and we hear meeting after meeting after meeting is all coming from basically one or two of you. So as we move into the next item, let's see how that plays out. And this is a good opportunity to extend a rose or a flower, or whatever you want to call it, and move forward on a whole different note. I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
And
I'm confused.
again,
I was just gonna say that I think if a commissioner really wants to serve and really wants to be on something, that I'm just uncomfortable of not allowing them to be part of something because in the past or such, because, you know, I have felt the same in other ways. So, I mean, it goes both ways. And I think this is an opportunity to just show some graciousness. And I would hope we could do that.
I'll second Mary's motion.
It's been seconded.
it's already seconded.
I have been seconded? Okay, I didn't know I've been seconded. I'm not gonna argue with this.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and make do a vote on the substitute motion from Commissioner McGann that was seconded by Commissioner Heather. So those in favor of Mary's motion to have Brian, Jacques and Trish on the Outdoor Recreation Subcommittee. Okay, and those opposed? And that passes 5-2.
As always, you need to fill in.
5-2 with McCandless and Winfield opposed. And we'll move on to 14.
And 13 was postponed, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 is postponed. Until further notice, it says.
Just
All right.
so online folks that are
Sorry, yes.
excitedly waiting for number 13, not this time.
Okay, 14 is the Gardner Institute Amendment 1 to contract. And are you talking about that, Bill? Or are we?
I'm
I mean,
more
I
than
can-
glad to update what I know of this. There's definitely been a whole lot of clamor going on amongst the community. Basically, what this boils down to is a one-page time extension from the Chem Gardner Institute. I believe the date was July 31st. I don't have the original in front of me, and it was moved to April 30th or 31st, right? Let me see here.
January, right?
It was January 31st, and we are moving it, the time up to April 30th, 2026, to allow them more time to complete this. There's multiple reasons that they stated that they needed more time. This was an ask from MC Gardner. It was not an ask from Grand County. There wasn't any change in the scope of work. There was nothing changed in the actual contract. It simply is a change allowing them more time. Some of the reasons given were the amount of media scrutiny that's on this. They feel like it's important to make sure that they do a good job getting all of the data that they possibly can. They also said that they're extremely busy right now, working on multiple other projects, some of which are for the state of Utah and the current legislation that's going on. So they have a lot of stuff going on and had asked for an extension of their time. And there's a few other points that I'll make, but I'll allow some discussion to start about it.
Commissioner Heather.
Thanks, Melody. Thanks, Bill, for that update. I think this has been, obviously, like you said, it's been a contentious issue. We all know that. It's contentious on the commission as well as in our in the public sphere among everyone in town. The update you just gave me, I appreciate that update a lot. But that's honestly the first I've heard of the reasons that for why the extension is necessary. And I think if there's an email or a letter that Kempsey Gardner had sent to us that we could have assuaged concerns in the community as well as on the commission by putting that out earlier and just communicated, But I've been against this from the beginning. I'm willing to support the extension. And I'm willing to do that with a couple of additions or modifications that I think would go a long way towards reestablishing public trust on this issue. And with that, I would move to approve the contract extension with the following modifications. The first one would be that drafts and comments should be made available to all the commissioners, so that we all have a chance to look at the drafts when they come out and make comment. Second modification that I would move to approve, or that the county's point of contact be made the commission admin office. I think that just follows with any contract, really. And nothing against yourself at all. I know you were named the point of contact in the MOU, but I think moving it to the commission admin office would be prudent for all of us. And the third would be that the final report, once we've had a chance to look at the drafts and make comment, be shared with the public, as it was taxpayer funded. So that's my motion.
And I'll second that motion, unless you were going to, Mike.
Oh, no, I have questions with that, but.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
And did you, well, your hand was up first.
I formulated new ones here.
Yeah.
Can that be a non-contract amendment with Kempsey Gardner, but can that be done in-house? Because I don't want to slow them down anymore. I don't want to amend their contract.
Yeah, so anytime we're doing the contract amendment, both sides have to agree on the terms of it. So even this approval, if they said, oh, we don't like that date, but yeah, any terms, the county could suggest alternate terms and go back to them and negotiate whatever terms. Obviously, whether the final report, I don't know if they'd have a position on that, likely not. Point of contact, they're probably not going to object with that. And then communication, some of the elements of that agreement are kind of county side, so.
That's what I was like, we can keep all county side, or are we gonna have to propose to them a new contract?
Whatever you're putting, whatever amendment you're putting forward, you'll have to get their permission or approval on it.
Cause at this point, they could be like, no.
I doubt it.
Correct.
The amendment, I mean, to the.
Correct, but yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Deans.
I guess I want to talk about a couple things really quick. And then, the one, I won't get into into depth as far as your perception of what I'm doing, but when I write a post, I'm trying to let the general public kind of wade through the agenda. And I always say, this is my perspective. These are my opinions. Please wade through the agenda on your own. And I make that very clear. What was a little disconcerting about this one, and it happened a couple of weeks ago also, is, this item is very contentious, and it has been all along, not just through the commission, through the entire community. That spin was a sticking point with a lot of community members. And so to try to put it on the consent was, didn't feel good. And so I think just in the future, when you have something that is contentious, just put it on the agenda so that everybody feels that it is out in the open, and they want to hear our discussion on it. That's all. And they want to see the vote on it. And so that's where it didn't come from me, where, extensive people diving this deep into this didn't come from me. It comes from citizens that are concerned, and that have taken the time to go back through the contracts, through the proposals, and to ask questions. And I appreciate that. I think we want an active citizenry. We don't want to be in a place where people aren't actively involved. And so I'll state that. I just think it's really important that when you guys know that there's something of contention, to just go ahead and put it as an action item, because it doesn't feel great. I am completely in support of, I didn't feel that we needed this study, however, and I voted against it way back when in June, but I am going to vote on the amended motion for that amended contract, I like those, I like those amendments and I'll vote on it and I will support it. If that's the way we go. If we don't, then I won't, because I absolutely don't think the commission, it is county, it is taxpayer dollars. We know we have talked about feasibly it coming out of TRT, but if it's taxpayer dollars, taxpayers need to see the report. That is not something that we have discretion to hold from them. So I think that just shouldn't even be an option. And I think the fact is it should come to the entire commission. We should see that first draft and be able to make comments. So.
Mike?
Where I do agree with what Jock said, I don't want to give another out for it slowing down in any way. That is my disagreement with that. I agree with the terms, but I feel that we need to work on that in-house in some way. But I'd like to make a secondary motion. I move to approve the amendment 1 of the contract with the Gardner Institute, granting the extension of time to April 30th, 2026.
I'll second.
Was there an original motion or is that?
Yeah.
That's the original.
Motion was Jock's motion with the three things in it, yeah. And so Brian seconded it, and then Mary's had her hand up, and then Brian had his hand up, so then you. Go ahead, Mary.
There's time entry's been contentious for a long time. I remember going to meetings over at both the Mark Arts and Recreation Center and at the Hoodoo and at the Grand Center. I mean, this isn't the first time that we have seen our community go like this. You know, it has been, and for whatever reason, it's been controversial. From the minute that we knew we had to do something, from the minute that UDOT closed the road, because it was UDOT that closed Arches the first time when it became unsafe. So it's been going back and forth. And so I definitely want it to continue because we've already paid for part of it. And I'm praying at this point that it somehow brings some kind of closure to this 10-year. When did they close the road at Arches that first time that it became an issue that we knew we had to do something about the lines? I'm praying that when we do get the report from Gardner, that it helps our community come to rest with wherever we land. We have, so I wasn't for it, but now that it started and we're partway through, I want it. I definitely support having it continue. And I just think these 2 amendments that Jock proposed, or 3 amendments that Jock proposed, will go a long ways to hopefully take the heat off of this on many levels. And I really agree. Like Steve said, I would be very, very surprised if Gardners would go, oh no, we don't want to do this. I think that they would go, oh, okay, because it's not making making them have to do any more work. It's just that how they report the work. So I don't see how, I think it's an unnecessary concern to say it's going to slow.
Right.
Thanks. Yeah, so I just wanted to clear up a couple of things. So first off, Commissioner McGann, you did support this originally. You actually made the motion that we would do this if we could use TRT funds.
But then it got changed.
It got changed, but you did originally have a support for this right here. If we use TRT. Pardon me, I know. It's hard sometimes when I speak and other people want to talk, but if you guys could please honor that I do have the floor right now and hold quorum, I would appreciate that. Thank you. I offered everybody the same opportunity as you were speaking. Thank you. Also to Trish's comment right there about social media, I'd like to read the start of your post. I just want to give you a quick update on the upcoming commission meeting. There is no disclosure like you stated at the beginning.
It's at the end. It's at the end. It's there. It is there.
You guys can talk afterwards. Yeah, thank you so much. And third, I'd like to just mention, this was a simple contract update. They were unable to meet their deadline. And I believe that by pulling this off of this consent agenda, we've done nothing more than just create more divisiveness. And I'd really like to see it if we could stop being so divisive over over these issues. You know, the rage baiting and the bringing these things up, it's not the proper way to run a meeting, I don't think. And I think that this right here, there's been nothing nefarious. I mean, there's been no draft that I've seen. And I mean, I was under the full impression that the commission at large would see the entire draft, right? So that draft was supposed to come here and then we would all see it. And I think that there was a reason for that second draft, which gave us the opportunity to make a comment and then for us to review it once again. So there were some thoughts that from what I heard when this contract was going from what the draft was and the sign. And it's also my understanding that that's very common, that we'll have a draft contract here and then the contract will change, right? Once it's actually signed. There's some things that aren't thought of when it's put up right there. As far as, you know, other folks, from what I've heard, there's been a lot of pressure put on Kim C. Gardner outside to influence this study. And I think that this commission right here so far has tried to distance itself the best that it can to say that we don't want to have anything to do with with this study. We gave them a scope of work and we've tried to stay and say, hey, once you have that complete scope of work set, that's when we want to see the results. Because it is contentious, and if there was something that was delivered that would be partial, right, it could be interpreted the wrong way. And I think that waiting for this is as simple as the North American WASH update extension that was in the agenda, which also is very controversial. I didn't see that get pulled. There's the trail ambassadors and their requests for funding. That has also been very controversial, especially when we have a subcommittee that was forming right here to go ahead and talk about how we want to have an overarching plan for these grants. There's a lot of controversial stuff that's inside of the consent agenda, right? But I think that by pulling this out, it was nothing more than a move to try to keep this commission to be divisive.
I think,
This is time number 2.
yeah, I'm gonna speak really quick,
Okay.
because I haven't got to talk about this also. And the thing is, I mean, the agenda was never posted for anyone to know that that was on the consent agenda anyways. I mean, it was just a discussion, and for me, it's just extending a contract that we already have put money for, and then we're gonna put it just like the American WASH. We just need to extend it, didn't get done. And so there was nothing nefarious in putting that on there, but you know, as soon as it was reached out to me before the agenda was published, you know, and said, hey, can we just move that out of there? No problem. Had no problem moving it out. Yeah, but I do agree. I don't think it's a contentious item, but I wasn't trying to be sneaky. It was just a matter of like, this is something that we are going to, that it would be silly for us not to approve it going forward because we've already spent half the money on it, you know, so we want to know what this has to say, whether you're for it or against it or whatever. I love Mary's comments about, you know, hopefully it can put some information or put the community at rest. And we want it to be done right. And so if we have to have another extension, then we may have another one. You know, it just might happen, just like some of our other contracts we have out there might have extensions. So anyways, that's why it was there, and no one in the community would have known that it was on the consent agenda had it not been pointed out to them. So anyways, it wasn't there. It's number 14 on our agenda. And I'm gonna go around, everybody can have another time to talk, and then I'm gonna call for a vote on Mike's motion. So. I think.
I was next.
Oh, you're next,
after
okay.
Brian.
So you're next, then Trish, then Mike.
Okay, we'll go down the line.
Okay.
I need blood in hand.
You know, I'm gonna make several points. Mary, you talk about taking the heat off. The heat is being generated by this social media, the constant negativity that's put out about certain commissioners who we talk about. Please put out the olive branch here. We talk about that all the time from the other side, but then the attack comes on from social media and others. But let's go down the line here. Really what we're doing is we're questioning Kim Gardner's integrity. And we've had multiple citizens that have tried to manipulate this study. And at every opportunity, this commissioner has said, I don't want to influence this. And when it was mentioned that they wanted an extension of date, what are the options? The options were to get upset, or the options were to accept that and not manipulate their study. And that's the route that we took. And we said, send over the extension. And it came in and it was put in the agenda. There was nothing nefarious there. There was a call put out that I'm receiving from Nate Lloyd, that I'm receiving multiple calls from the media and from citizens that are continually trying to manipulate this study. And I turned them over to the PIO officer. That's her job. So I could have dealt with it. I could have stuck my nose in the middle of that and attempted to do something nefarious with this, as citizens are doing on a regular basis, because they're inflamed by the constant rhetoric that they get. But as we go through it, some of the things that they're in the middle of right now, do we question them on their Census Bureau study? Do we question them on what they're doing for the Olympics right now? I can go down, there's a whole list of things that they have going on, and they explain that they're doing the best they can. And so they're trying to get their work accomplished. But really the elephant in the room here is this constant need to build a fire under people. And it's always the same ones that come in here. There's just this fire that somebody builds under them. And it doesn't make any sense. Take the heat off. Let's take the heat off and be adults here. Let the study come out and live with the results. I have to live with it. I don't want to manipulate it. I don't want Melody to manipulate it. I don't want you to manipulate it, nor do I want people manipulating the public. And so let's move forward and see what the study says, and I'll live with the results. I haven't influenced it. I have no intention. I do not agree with changing the contract. I won't support the motion to change the contract, because all you're doing is manipulating the study when you do that. Am I fine with the comm admin being a point of contact with me, because I did start this? I pushed this from the beginning. I have no problem. I don't need to have a separate meeting. I'm saying this in a public meeting. I'm glad to have these calls, any further calls that come in. And as I said, I've already turned one of them over to the PIO officer. But this continual insinuation that something sneaky is going on, and you've got to dig through the consent agenda to see what they're doing behind our backs again, public, come in and get an uproar. It's childish. It's time that we, as Jacques said, that we change some of our actions here and start working as a team up here, because we're affecting the community by our actions. Our actions are affecting the community. And so let's move forward. Let's do it. Let's start right now. Make that commitment. As we go around the room here, let's move forward. I'll make the commitment to work with Mark. I don't have any desire to be the only one here. There was never a time that anybody suggested we weren't going to make this public. But it was the fire that was built under the public to kind of build a little fire out there. That's another point we can dig at them. There's nobody wants to keep this from the public. Nobody wants to keep it from the commission. Nobody wants to keep it from comm admin. We want to see a study. We want to see the results. All of us. We want to see it and be done. And there are so many things that we could get on with our lives here and deal with. And I want to remind you that Brian extended an olive branch at the last vote.
Very appreciative.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Brian.
I do want to state that, I really don't think I have as much influence as you all want to portray. We have a highly engaged citizenry that looks through agendas. That's, I appreciate it, but I don't think it's coming out of me. I think the one concern came out of the MOU, which, came after the vote. And that's where that item came, that it was at the discretion of the commission if we would release that report. And I do think that's concerning. And I think that should be concerning to not only us, but the general citizenry. And so that's why I think those amendments are very minor. I think, that it's just showing good faith to our to the citizens that will probably have to pay for this report.
Mike, did you have another comment?
Oh, we talked enough.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not for amending it with Jacques' amendments either, because I don't want to delay it. I want it to go further, but absolutely. We want, I mean, there is no part of me that would fathom not putting that report to the community. I mean, there's just hide behind it. I mean, it would go to all of us and they would all get it anyways. I mean, so it's not, there's no way that it's being hidden. So I don't think that that's.
Yeah, what do I put in there?
It just says at the discretion, so the commission decides. So it doesn't say that Kempsey Gardner is gonna go ahead and release it to the newspaper. It means that the commission will have the discretion of when to release that. You know, that's why they put that in there, because they don't get to go and release it to the public. It's the commission's property because we're paying for it.
Claiming
Yes,
property.
it is the tax money of the citizens. We would absolutely want to turn it over to them. But I'm not for changing the amendments of it at this time, because I think we need to get moving on with it. But I think it's valid, and that there won't be, I mean, I don't think there's anything crazy. He's already said that admin is more than welcome on those conversations. We'll all get the drafts, so go ahead, Jacques.
Thanks. Just a few points. I don't think these amendments are not manipulating the contract at all. I really propose them because I think they would go a long way towards bringing the temperature down. I think they'd establish trust with folks. Not even necessarily me. Bill, you said you don't mind if we change the point of contact to ComAdmin. I'd vote for that if we just made that one simple adjustment. I think that would, go into ComAdmin. I think it would honestly take pressure off you, Bill. I think it would be helpful for all of us. So I would propose that.
Do you want to amend your motion?
I think
there's already
already been established here, that we don't need to adjust a contract to make a change, and that Mark Tyner and ComAdmin and myself can be the point of contact here. There's nothing nefarious that I think that we
I'm
need
not
to.
suggesting there, as I'm saying that I think this would go a ways towards assuaging some folks, a large quarter's concerns, and I don't think it's a huge concession. And I'd actually refer to Stephen. It would make the point of contact ComAdmin instead of a single commissioner in a legal contract if we changed just that one complaint.
Sure, I mean, any amendment that you want to do, you can limit or create any changes to the contract you want. So if that was something you guys want to do, then point of contact one person or multiple people. I mean, the idea of a point of contact the point of contact for a contract is normally you want to assign somebody that's going to receive updates, service of any important documentation. Well, you can put that to any way.
And I think it'd be easier if it did come to ComAdmin. I mean, Bill, you updated us tonight, but that's the first update I'd got, and I had an MOU before yesterday. I mean, I think they'll just be kind of a no-brainer.
There have been multiple updates mentioned as this has gone along multiple times here, whether or not you caught them. There was nothing of substance. There's nothing to update. We've had an update tonight, so there is some substance. They want an extension.
We did get an update tonight.
Right. And
Finally.
so far out of proportion over a 1-page update. We're changing a date on something. It's this public drive that is on has to stop if we ever want to change the divide here.
I'm willing to work with you on this. I'm asking for one day.
Okay, so Mike, you ready? You have another comment? I'm gonna call for a vote.
You call for a vote.
Okay,
It's on.
there was a substitute motion from Mike and seconded by Brian to accept the amendment for the Gardner Institute 1 to contract. All in favor? And those opposed?
I'm abstaining because I totally support and I want the study to continue. I just really wanted those amendments. I thought they were simple and go a long ways to help. So I'm abstaining because I support the motion, but I wanted to.
Okay. So that passed 4-2 against Dean and Heather and 1 abstaining again. And Mike.
Mike's there.
I know he has.
Oh, I was an aye.
Question.
Yeah. given Bill's willingness, then we handle that in-house now. I mean, admin, can you point of contact?
Whatever the commission wants to do.
Cool. That, I mean, solidified. Thanks.
It doesn't take a contract amendment.
Send an email to Shannon. Shannon can start contacting.
Yep.
Or copying.
Okay.
All right, and with that, I'm going to call this meeting adjourned at 7:42.